despised and rejected, spit on and disrespected, came to my own afflicted. Why didn't they listen to me? The greatest sacrifice no other man could ever give. I gave my life and soul, knowing it would make you live. Spirit was willing, with my flesh I had to overcome. I asked my Father, pass this cup, but I was the only one to do His will, fulfill the scriptures to perfection. Lay down my life in hope of reconciliation. Christ is on His way. Will you be waiting for me? Christ is on His way. Will I find faith in Thee? Christ is on His way. Come to the end of this confusion. Christ is on His way. She turned the righteous ruling. Christ is on His way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on His way. Or will I find iniquity? Christ is on His way. I bear the sins of many. Christ is on His way. How could you do this to me? Of all the families on earth, you only have I known. My sheep was lost in this world. To you my love was shown. I came to give repentance, forgiveness of your sin, to be a prince and savior, but you won't let me in. Instead you delivered me unto the enemy with all your blasphemies. How could you do this to me? Stiff-necked and stuck in your ways, you broke the covenant. You only got a few days before I make my judgment. Oh, forgive them, for they know not what they do. What they do, what they do. I will plead with them face to face till I turn them back to you.
Yo, you thought I wasn't coming back? Imagine that, watch the sky crack when I attack. I held back the winds from the four corners. Now you were gonna watch my battle wax get bloody. No one above me to please them, to choose me, to bruise me, but nothing could move me. You refused me like you never knew me. I didn't have to do it when I carried your iniquity, your wickedly witchery. And you don't remember me, the whole world watched on my name. They lied, denied that I died, so they pierced my side. Now I will return to burn, to unlearn, but the whole world heard. But for everything I do is for the Lord. If I breathe, I breathe for Christ. If I die, I die for Christ, no matter the price. Understand it, I present my body as a living sacrifice.
That's right.
Repent, for the kingdom of the Lord is at hand. The coming of Yahweh is not. And He prophesied when He was going to be born and died. I hope these cats realize that there ain't much time. First and foremost is Satan holds post. Keep your guards up and close with the armor of the Most High. He's not a man that he should lie. I hate when we teach Jake and they walk on by.
Christ is on His way. Will you be ready for Christ is on His way. Christ is
Welcome, everybody. I had to shorten that out because I'm too excited right now. I had to shorten that out. So I'm glad everybody is here. I know we're going to be having some people floating in, a little late. So, I'm glad you guys are here, man. I got this gentleman here that has taken some of his precious time to bring it to the village. So we're going to make as much use of it as we can. And the setup that we have right now is we're going to talk a little bit about his history, talk about the music, talk about, his mental illness and what he goes through and what he has gone through and how it inspired his music. And then we're going to have a few questions from the audience to ask him. And that's what we're going to do. So with that being said, you guys are asking, who the hell is, who did Bolo get, man? Well, let me say this. First off, let me play some of the music that this man has inspired. Let me play some of the music because I don't think y'all understand what we're dealing with right here. And we understand we do Brooklyn all day. Y'all know that. It's Brooklyn all day here. So let me play y'all. Inspired so many artists to come out and to do what they do. And don't just start with just one joint. Come on now, you know how Bolo do. We talking about someone that's a pioneer in this. It's another joint.
Please,
tell us about the
group
the people are asking.
Of course we expect to win. Any self-respecting, intelligent person knows that this so-called band, Stetsasonic, and the rest of this hip-hop music is just a passing fad, which, 1, is not creative, 2, inspires violence, and 3, encourages thievery in the form of sampling. No further questions, please.
Well, please tell us the
Well, here's how it started. Heard you on the radio, talking about rap, saying all that about how we sample. Give an example. Think we'll let you get away with that? You criticize our method, or how we make records. You said it wasn't art, so now we're gonna rip you apart.
Stop. Check it out, my man. This is the music of hip.
We got some more. This guy was very influential. This man, this brother, this pioneer, he was very influential in the hip hop era of when there was a lot of violence that was going on. He was very instrumental in this song that we're about to listen to right now. Here we go.
Disco, they'll close one more. You ain't guarding the door. So what you got a gun for? Do you rob the rich and give to the poor? Yo, daddy-o. School him some more.
This straight from the mouth.
Oh, why?
And daddy-o.
Do a crime.
End up in jail and gotta go.
Cause you could do crime and get paid today.
And tomorrow you're behind bars in the worst way.
Far from your family.
Cause you're locked away.
Now tell
Do
me.
you really think crime pays?
Scheming on taking what your brother had?
You little sucker. You talking all that jazz.
It's
Now we got one more record, because I know you guys are wondering who it is. We got one more song. This song right here, and he's in the background. This right here, when we go into the movies, my kids and I, when we go into the movies and we got to get there quick, I bang this joint right here. I got videos of me banging this joint right here. This is straight Brooklyn all day.
Brace yourself for the awesome and rare. The real, the right, and dynamite is in the atmosphere. As there's a time and place for everything that's under the sun. This is the time and the place that we have some fun. Now take a sec to check the pedigree.
Now I see that some of you guys already know who it is. We're going to bring up my brother, my man, Mr. Daddy-O. What's the dilly, yo?
What up, son?
I'm
What up, son?
It's
Nah,
Brooklyn.
you know what it is. Yeah, you know what
Brooklyn
it is. Yes,
Brooklyn.
sir.
How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I got a friend. He got his line. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I like
Word.
that.
Word.
Yeah, I like that.
So like I said before, Daddy-O, that song, that I played, Go Brooklyn. That
Right.
That joint right there is one of my favorite joints that you guys had. But we're gonna go through this walk that that you've gone through and how the music inspired you and where it came from and the people you influenced and who influenced you. And then we're gonna get into this PTSD and what your new projects are. So the first thing I want to say, man, thank you so much for blessing us.
Oh, no problem, my brother. We family, so you know how I go.
Cats be thinking that Bolo don't be knowing people in the streets, man. I be telling them I'm a thug, man. They don't believe me.
That's because you clean. That's because you clean up nice. You clean it. Hey, take that from me, brother. You clean up very nice, brother.
I'm telling them, man. I tell them, I'm in the streets. These cats was doing it. They don't understand. I might be young, what I'm saying, compared to you. But I was there, man. I seen you guys. So let's just get into it, man. The first question that I want to ask you is this. What made you get into music? What made you want to express yourself in music? All the things you could have done.
So growing up, right? In my household, there was three kinds of music because I had older siblings. So there was my mama's music that I said always sound like somebody was smoking cigarettes. James Brown, Joe Tex, Wilson Pickett, it's a bunch, all of that, right? Then there was my brother and my sister's music, which was more like Blue Magic, Black Ivory, like Northern Soul, kind of a lot of falsetto, delphonic stylistics type of thing. And then there was my music, right? Which was like, a lot of people don't understand that the Jackson 5 was not the only kids group. Like we had Little Anthony and the Imperials, we had Brighter Side of Darkness, we had a whole slew of kids groups that used to make R&B, and that was my music. And so because those kids was out there, it inspired me and my friends to put together a little singing group and do harmonies and stuff. Because, and into talent shows and stuff like that. So listening to music, I always talk about music being such a central place in the Black home earlier. Like, not to get off on a tangent, but I ask everybody this question. People always talk about hip hop. I said, what destroyed hip hop? And people got all these non-falutin, high scientific answers. The Sony Walkman, and we could talk about that later. But anyway, music was a central part of our environment because the television went off at midnight.
Right.
So the television went off at midnight. If you notice, back in the day, record players was actually furniture. That's how much music was a part. Think of what I'm saying. The television has now become the furniture, but the furniture was the record player.
Yeah.
So I was influenced by everything that I used to hear. And, and there was local bands. I'm from Brooklyn. So there was Brass Construction. There was BT Express. There was Sky. And we used to see them locally way before they made records and stuff. So it was always like, I was always around music. And it's just when I heard rap, I just wanted to do it because I liked the way it sounded.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I just like the way it sounded.
I wanted to ask that question because it segues into me giving the true intro that I'm sure a lot of people don't give you. The true intro. And that intro is this. Well, let me ask you this one question, then we'll go into it. How did the group Stetsasonic come together? How do you guys come together and form that group? Because you guys, in hip hop, they've been pivotal bands. Let's not even say groups. They've been pivotal groups in hip hop.
Right.
You guys didn't want to be called a group. You guys were called a band. And hip hop,
because we are that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they did.
No one was doing that. Everyone was called, they were rap groups and things of that nature. You called yourself a band, you and your group. So how did you guys come together, and what influenced you guys to come together and form this group, Stetsasonic?
Well, the band part is because we all make music. I'm one of those people that's lucky enough to be internal. So most of the acts back in the days that I started making records were getting produced by somebody other than somebody in the group. You know what I mean? Like nobody in the group was producing them. It was all outside producers. We was all internal. So the band part came about because of that, because we were all internal. We made all this music and we was like, okay, how are we going to duplicate this music? Say, let's just take everything on stage. The drums, everything. Let's just take it on stage. And we the hip hop band. Like, so because we had every element. We had 3 MCs in the front. We had a human beatbox that was his dedicated position as a human beatbox. We call him a human mix machine. And then we had 3 people in the back. We had a DJ, we had DBC on the keyboards, and we had Prince Paul on the turntables. Like all of the elements of hip hop, we combined on stage because we a stage band first. We didn't know how to make records in the beginning. What made us start doing it was I was influenced. I talked to Delight about it, and me and Delight just started making a group, and we went through a whole bunch of members before we ended up deciding all the people that's in it now. But we just wanted to make a group. We knew how we wanted to sound, but we just had to find the right members because we knew what we wanted it to be. And we always knew we wanted like something like a big sound because we felt like nobody was really doing a big sound. Everybody was doing like a hip hop sound, but there wasn't really like, it wasn't expansive. We used to listen in the Mandrill and Earth, Wind and Fire, you know what I'm saying? And all these bands, you know, we listening to these bands and we like, yo, we gotta expand this thing, man. We gotta do some funky stuff. You know what I mean? Like undeniable, you know? So it's interesting. I was talking about you today, and my homegirl asked me something. She a singer. So she said, so what is it? Because, you know, we talk about the old school cats and how they don't want to make records. And why they don't want to make records no more? I said, yo, I didn't have an answer. But then my man Bolo gave me my answer. I call you my young boy, you know, because, you know, I'm 61. So I call you my young boy. I said, my young boy gave me the answer. They just had a talent. Yo, that's so dope that you told me that. Yo, you understand? That's it right there. He said, Daddy-o, they just had a talent and the talent served them. So now they finito.
You know what it was? Because they tell you that, you know, in anything that you do, it's 90% discipline and 10% talent.
Right.
You know
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So when you have a love for something, you do it all day. You do it every day until the day you can't do it anymore. But when you just have something that you know how to do, when you get to that point where you're able to live off of it for the rest of your life, you're like, I'm good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I'll give you this introduction.
That's real.
Stetsasonic was formed in 1981 in New York, Brooklyn. Stetsasonic is one of the first bands, if not the first band, to perform with a full band and use live instruments in their recordings, proving the way for the future hip-hop bands such as Roots. You guys did something that was so pivotal that rap wasn't doing. You guys were the first to bring jazz.
Yeah, I mean, fully. I think Guru and them touched on it. I think Q-Tip and them touched on it. But
Planets came out. But well,
that was all Delight, right? Because Delight made it's still true. Delight made a really cool observation early, and he said that hip hop and jazz has such a correlation. Like, Daddy, we go to Latin Quarter, we go to, you know, Union Square, we go to the Rooftop. It's just like them in them little clubs that they used to play in Harlem, like. We play after hours. They played after hours. Like, you know, he said, man, we need to do something as a correlation between hip hop and jazz. So that's where the original idea for Talking All That Jazz came from. But then James M. Tume, God bless the dead, that was my man. James M. Tume and a couple of other cats, Van Silk and them, was on a radio show in New York, and they started talking bad about sampling. And I got tight. So I called the guys. I said, we're not going to do that talking. The name of the record was going to be Talking All That Jazz anyway, but it was going to be talking about the correlation between hip hop and jazz. I said, yo, I got it. I said, yo, I got it. It's going to be, you know, boom. And then the guys was with it. So, you know what I'm saying? So that was it. And then we was able to, you know, we were always able to experiment. That's one thing I thank God for, man. We were always able to, like, try new stuff where, like, some people were just kind of locked into what they was doing. That wasn't us. We would experiment with anything that we could. We see a new piece of gear come in the studio and we're like, what's that? It's like, oh, that's a flute horn that we got for these Irish guys that's coming up here. And we'd be like, can we see it?
But you know what's so beautiful? The duality in that title, Talking All That Jazz. So not only were you using jazz to propel music, to propel hip hop to a different audience, because what the mainstream didn't understand what hip hop is, something that was typically dead to a younger generation. When hip hop came, it revitalized it. We took it and found a new use for it. So when you came in there, what you did intellectually, musically, spiritually, you shut them down in a way of saying, we're talking all that jazz, not only through the music, but we're giving you guys life. We're breathing breath into you. And that's awesome. So why the name Stetsasonic?
That's another Delight thing. So we were taught. I used to sound like those guys in the Bronx. Yes, yes, y'all. To the beat, y'all. You don't stop. Keep on.
That ain't Brooklyn, baby.
That's the way I used to sound. And I had a name. My name was Dr. On. Now,
Okay.
it was some brothers that used to hang out on the corner and they was hustling. That's when hustling had first started, like that kind of hustling. So they was
Right.
hustling one day they seen me because I used to love music and everything. And I was, I was starting to do it, but that's the way I sounded. And when they called me over one time, they said, yo, Kareem, come over here, come over here. I went over there and then they was just like, yo, um, you be rapping, right? You be rapping, right? What's your name? And I was like, my name is Dr. On. They was like, yo, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. Your name gonna be Daddy-O, and you're gonna run it down just like this. D to the A-double-D-Y-O. I go by the code of MC Daddy-O, and this is something that you must be told. You couldn't touch me with a sure shot pole, Daddy-O. Rhymes galore, MC Daddy-O. Came back for more, y'all. Now do it. And I did it. And I did
Wow.
it.
Yeah.
Right? And I did it. And then they was like, yo, we got this style called a gangster rock. And they was like, yo, we come from a crew in Long Island called the Stetson Brothers. And we beat Flash in them. And I was like, nobody beat Flash in them. You know what I mean? Like Flash is my favorite group. Like I was like, yo, nobody beat Flash. And they was like, yo, I'm telling you, Kareem, I'm gonna find the tape. I'm gonna find the tape. So every time I come around, they never found the tape. They never found the tape. And one day, I don't have it to this day. I lost that tape. They played the tape, and Mel and all of them was on that. But Pudgy P and Jeff Green and them was ripping it, sounding just like I sound now. Ripping them apart with that style. Because them niggas was still on that. It was a party, everybody was. And them niggas was like, Pudgy P, and I was like, yo, that's crazy. So they started hustling. So they told me I could take the name Stetson Brothers. So for a minute we took it, but the light was like, yo, if we get known, because we wasn't known. He was like, if we get known, people might think it's them. So we should keep the Stetson thing to honor them, but put something else with it. I said, what you suggest? He said, Stetson Sonic. I said, what that mean? He said, Stetson for the style and Sonic for the sound. I said, okay, I'm with it.
And a legend was born, man. And a legend
Oh,
was born.
yeah.
And you know what a lot of people don't understand is back in that day of hip hop, people would battle for names. They would take your name. Time. They would battle for your name. You can't use that name no more from now on.
It's true. Yep, it's true. Yep, it's true. Yep.
And that's what they don't understand. So let's talk about the music back then and the music now. And you being there from so far long ago and see the difference, because a lot of us don't understand that we don't appreciate the OGs because they seen it. They seen the differences. They seen, when you have these OGs that still have the knowledge and wisdom to be able to articulate what's going on. There's a lot of information. So talk to me, talk to us about the difference between the music back then and how you see it progressing today and where it's at.
Well, this is the way I describe it. It's so funny. I think I was just talking to the homie and I was talking and we were talking about the population because she was trying to figure out some stuff. Because she said her philosophy is hip hop ain't always going to be the ruling medium. Somebody else is going to take over. And she was like, it might be them Latin. It might be them Latin people. It might be the Africans, whatever. But she was trying to do some numbers. But anyway, when she was trying to do the numbers, I was talking to her and I said something about 8 million. And I said, oh, well, 8 million must just be New York because Curtis Blow had made a record called 8 Million Stories. She looked up New York's population. I think it's 12 million now or more than that, like 16 or something. So that gives me good kind of food for what I always say. When we first started doing music, I mean, I'm being facetious, but I say it was 9 of us. It was really more than 9, but You know what I'm saying? It was a small amount of us. And the one thing that people don't put into consideration all the time is population. Population grows. And so when we first started doing it, we're brand new at doing it. We're fresh at doing it. We really don't know what we're doing. I say this all the time. If you listen to the first Sugar Hill Gang album, they singing on half and rapping on half. Nobody knew what to do. It was when Run DMC came out with a full rapping record that we all said, holy cow, we can make an album rapping, because we didn't know what we were supposed to be doing. So all of that was experimental development as time went on, and another MC comes and he tries a new style, and another group comes and they try something different. And, you know, we're just growing. We're just building this music. We did make some classic music. We didn't know it was going to be classic. Like, I didn't know I was going to go in a club like now and hear Ghost Stetson and people going crazy. Like, I didn't think about that. You know what I'm saying? But we just, you know, we were doing what we did. It was developed very organically. It was frowned on by the industry, which is why most of us were signed to small labels, smaller hip hop labels, because the industry was not having us. Whereas now it's, you know, it's the number one music. So that's a whole different situation. Now they welcome it. I did a record called We Survived on my album From My Hood to You. And I talk about that. Like, you hated us before. Now all of a sudden you saying home of hip hop and R&B. Where'd that come from? You actually on your station saying home of hip hop and R&B. You hated us. So, you know, but it's more wide accepted, but then it's like, it's tough for artists because they have to fit in a certain format. And some of them make good records and fit in that format. And then some of the records are not so good, but they fit the format, you know? So that, I mean, and I think that's always been, right? It's not like all records back in the day was dope. Niggas wasn't dope. Like, I tell people all the time, like, son, like, we wasn't listening to Salt and Pepper, Kid and Play, Heavy D. Like, we wasn't listening to that. That was soft to us. We like, y'all can have that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we
Brooklyn. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah, we wasn't really messing with it like that. So, you know, it's always been stuff that didn't make the cut. What I feel, and I'm a little different than most, I feel like the young kids get a bad rep because I see what they trying to do. The problem is this. If there is a problem, I don't like to say it's a problem, but the issue is this, and this is honest. I say it, this is the way I preach it. I say what you're listening to with a lot of young producers right now, it's like you was listening to Swiss Beats when he was making the demos for DMX. But back then, the demos never made it. Like, I could let you hear Junior Mafia demos where Biggie said that I'm surrounded. Biggie said that I'm surrounded rhyme for me first. You know what I mean? But the demos don't make it. You got to come back. You got to make a record that's commercial, whatever. Nowadays, I feel like some of these records may be a little premature that they putting out. I don't think they whack. Some of them beat. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of joints on the radio that beat, but then some of them feel a little premature, kind of sort of to everybody, but then the radio is different. Like, I talk to people all the time, right? And people always say, oh, music is whack.
This was the conversation that we was having on the phone the other day.
Yeah. Niggas say, oh, music is whack now and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, if you got Spotify and Apple Music, you realize music is not whack, right? There's music everywhere. But if there's any failure, I hate to say this, but I have to be honest. If there's any failure in the hip hop community, it's black radio. They let go of us. They let go of us, and they went for iHeart and everything else. They went for all of that regular, the same program you hear here in San Francisco, you hear in Houston, you hear in New York. They went for that. You understand? They the ones that went for that. Because I said this before. 2 years ago, I don't want to call her a queen because I believe Whitney was a queen. I believe Roberta Flack is a queen. I believe Gladys Knight's a queen. But I will say one of our princesses. Toni Braxton put out a record produced by Babyface. I think it was 2 years ago. Great record. Never got played on black radio. I wonder what. It's Tony Braxton. It's Babyface. That's them. They the ones that failed us because the underground is alive and well. We don't care about none of that. We making joints. We don't care. We got YouTube. We ain't got to. No, I mean, God bless it. God bless Ralph. Ralph McDaniels plays my new videos to this day, but we ain't got to depend on that type of thing no more when we got a few other platforms to work with. So we just, with the underground, we just do what we do. But commercially, those are the only records that people hear. So they don't know what rap is doing. They have no idea what rap is doing. If I mention some of the rappers that I listen to people, they don't even know who those rappers are. Because if you're not in it, you're not in it. But the beauty in it all is it's no longer about that overall popularity. It's about cultivating an audience because you can do that with the internet. When I was making records, if somebody in Kansas wanted to know me, there was no way for me to know. How I'm gonna know? They're gonna send a kite. How I'm gonna know? Right. Ain't no way. Ain't no. Yeah, it's different because I could touch them. So I'm talking to them now. So now I'm talking to my audience.
You know what it reminds me too? It's like here in the village, right? This platform that, the Lord blessed us with here is we're geared with mental illness, depression, PTSD. That's why,
right.
The 2 songs that we're going to play later, it's fire. But I'm listening to you and you're saying that the old school cats revered what they did.
Right.
And they didn't want to present it until it was ready. They took their time. They meditated.
Because the example wasn't rap. See, that's the difference, right? Our example is listen to the name of the groups: Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Funky 4 plus one more, the Treacherous Three. Where they get those names from? They get those names from the Temptation, the Four Tops. That's where they get those names from. We were always following R&B because that's all that was there before us. We were following the greats before us. I tell people all the time, this is a proud Brooklyn moment. We only called it hip hop because they called it hip hop. Who's they? The Bronx. Because all we thought we were doing was an extension of the black music before us. That was me and the Light's whole thing. We felt we was musicians. We was just rappers. But we still getting ready to go in there and do the same thing Stevie and all the rest of them do. But we just gonna be rapping. But we didn't care to call it anything. We didn't care to call it anything. It was black music to us. We didn't care. You know what I mean? And that's
the point. That's the point in the beauty of the example that you gave. Because
but the young boys is now only looking at rap. So who's their greats? Biggie, right. Tupac. No disrespect to Big or Tupac. I knew them both. I didn't get to work with Pac. Something happened with him, but I didn't get to work with him. But I got to work with Big. And they were good guys. They were great writers. But were they the end all be all? Like, they not somebody I would look at and say, oh, I need to study him and I could get nice. Like, he's a guy that has a nice style that doesn't even need to be copied. Let that stay. You understand what I'm trying to say? I'll copy Mel. I'll copy Mo D. I'll copy Cass because there's a whole plethora of styles coming out of these guys. But I can't copy somebody from the 90s. It's not a plethora of stuff. It's just one thing. If you copy Snoop, you're copying one thing.
Got you.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So,
was music a mental? Was music a mental escape for you?
I think it still is. Interestingly enough, I've been for the last, month or two, really just kind of listening to what everybody listens to. And that means, radio and in the playlist that they cultivate on Spotify and Apple Music. And I actually made a playlist last night on Apple Music because Apple Music has a playlist called R&B Now. I didn't take it all, but some of that Summer Walker stuff, some of that Reyes girl. It was something else. It was a Jasmine Sullivan record that was crazy.
Some of them, but you know what it is? the songs that we're listening to, right?
Right.
It's very reminiscent of the past. So when you're
Well,
talking
not
about Jasmine
some of
Sullivan,
some of it is, and some of it's not. There's some new things that they're doing. Like I'm telling you, this playlist I put together, there's some
yeah,
new things that they're doing. It sounds different. It's not. It's not the typical R&B sound that we're used to. They do something different. They do some really different kind of things, and I understand what it is. And like I said, it's just not us. Like I think that's where we should draw the line is just saying it's just not us. You know what I mean? Like it's
so my
not
question to
us.
you, why you so to kind of wrap that question up, why lately have you been listening to that type of music for the last 2-3 months?
Oh no! I did that just to get in. I travel with these projects, and I travel to the West Coast for a project. I usually come and stay in a hotel room. I set up my studio. If the screen gets turned on, I'm HDMI and my stuff to the screen. I don't watch nothing that comes across broadcast. I'll listen to no radio. I listen to everything I want to listen to. I got speakers all over the room, Bluetooths all over the room, everything. But this time I said, you know what? Let me listen to the radio and see what's happening. And so I started listening to KMEL every morning. And I'm listening. And it's interesting because this is one area that doesn't have a syndicated Breakfast Club broadcast. They don't play the Breakfast Club out here at all because they got their own.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this because you answered that. What do you think about the difference in the lyrical content of back then in the 80s when you guys came together? And even before you, when you were naming the Treacherous Three, Grandmaster Flash, so forth and so on, right? Till you. And then the 90s came, you had the Biggies and the Tupacs, and now you have what we have today. Can you tell me the progression and the difference in the lyrical content and what you think because you were there?
Again, you got a smaller amount of people and you got a much harder barrier to entry, meaning, it's almost like a damn acting audition in the beginning. That's the only way I could describe it. The way I see, I've never been, well, actually I did go to a couple of auditions, but the way I see it on television, a whole bunch of people in the hallway studying lines, boom, only one or two of those people are going to get picked. Right. That's the way it was in the very beginning. Now, because the barrier entry is not there, we can do everything right now. You and I could come here tonight, record a record right here in my studio, and I'm in a hotel room, record a record right here in my studio, go outside, turn my camera to the side, my iPhone to the side, shoot a whole video, come back on this computer, edit it in, I'm talking about all free programs, edit it in iMovie, and put it out the next day.
So what do you think about the lyrical content? Like
lyrically, I mean, that's what happens, right? So because of the fact that you can mass manufacture it, of course it's going to water it. It's going to water down. It's going to be water because it's so easy to do and so easy to put out. No barrier in entry. So you don't have to have anything. I'm not saying you don't. I mean, there's a couple of things that's good. There's a record called, it's that record that Kendrick got caught out right now. That I hope I'm not too late. Get my feelings straight. I mean, not to get my feelings, to get my demons straight. That record's dope as hell, B. That record's dope. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes they talk it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they talk it. I like some of the talking in some of the records, but ain't no complication in it anymore. And that could be due to audience as well. It could go back to that whole.
Explain.
Yeah, it could go back to that whole thing that Jay-Z said a line that he would want to be the Cold Crush and all of that, but they wouldn't accept it. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, that pure lyricism, all of the stuff that we do as purists is no different. Here's Delight's example again. It's no different than the jazz purists. It's jazz people that don't listen to Kenny G. that don't listen to Najee, that don't listen not even to Weather Report. You know what I mean? Because everything to them is Miles and Dizzy and all of that, and that's jazz.
So they're
And
closed.
that others,
Right.
yeah,
So
they that's yeah. So that's I think it's almost the same, because I find a lot of new music that I enjoy. You know what I mean? So I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot of the same, but I'm not a purist that way. I'm a strange Brooklyn dude in terms of when it goes to like what my favorite records are, my favorite MCs. I'm real strange.
So
So different.
Before we get deeper, because I want to stay on the lyrical content and where their lyrics are going and if it's telling a story. I want the people to know, because I don't think they know some of the people that you've worked with and some of the artists that you actually had a hand in their career. So I'm gonna name a few.
Okay.
And you tell me what comes to your mind. Okay. De La Soul.
I remember De La. The fun fact: De La Soul gets their name from a Stetsasonic record called Rock De La Stet. We did a record called It was the B-side to our first single. It's called Rock De La Stet, and they got that name because De La was Paul's little friends that used to come hang out with us in the studio. Dedicated, man, real dedicated brothers, man. You know, they're very serious.
How did you guys have a hand in their career?
So Paul produced the whole thing. My DJ produced the whole thing, and then he made this record called Plug Tuning, and he brought it to me. And he said, "I don't know what to do with it. I don't know nobody." First of all, he said, "I don't even know if this is good. Is this good?" I was like, "This is amazing." And he's like, "Well, I don't know what to do." I went out and I had a bidding war over the weekend. They were signed over the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw another name at you. Junior Mafia.
Junior Mafia is a group of people that my partner, he's still my partner in the sense that my partner Rivera had an idea to put together a group. Biggie used to hang around the neighborhood with these little boys, and they used to run the neighborhood. It was ill. I used to see them, and it was so cute to me. It's so negative, but it's so cute. They used to all have these bubble vests on, right? And they had the Boy Scout number 666 on all their bubble vests, and they just running around the neighborhood and looking like the Fat Albert kids, because Biggie's technically bigger than all the rest of them. You know, right. And he says, "Man, I want to do a record called, with this Junior Mafia thing." And I said, "Who?" And he said, "Them guys, be like season all of them, man in them that be with Big and them." And he was like, I was like, "Can they rap?" He said, "D, I don't care if they can rap." And he do got this girl, Kim, she could rap. But I don't care if they can rap. We just gonna put the plan together. And that's what we did. First time we tried to take Junior Mafia in the studio, they was hiding. They was on 4th Street hiding. With me and her in the car, and C's and them pulling back like this in the doorway. You're like, "Yo, C's, yo, man."
Okay.
They ain't want to run.
Talk to me about MC Light. There's a little story. There's a Light.
Light's a one of a kind person, because Light is a girl that really had to hold her own in a very, very, very male dominated industry. So she's definitely a very one of a kind type of person. I wasn't around when she first started. I did work with her on her first record, but I wasn't around with her when she first started. And
okay.
I don't know what inspired her, but she was, from the time I met Light, she was as good as you know her to be now. Like, she was good when I met her.
Light was on a different level. What made me paper thin because you know one of the
Yeah, shit.
members.
But when I met, I met her. I met her at that level of talent. When I met her, she was that good.
Already there, especially when she was going back and forth with Antoinette. Talk to us about Audio 2. And for those of you that don't know who Audio 2 is and all that group, MC and my people call me Milk. When I'm up in a party, I feel no. Talk to us about that. You know, you had a hand in that.
So the Audio 2, the light was staying with me in Brooklyn. Red Alert had a Tuesday night at the Latin Quarter, and the light used to always come back to the crib singing this record. And grapes are sour. And I was like, what the hell are you singing? And he's like, yo, it's this group. I was like, is it a rap record? And he's like, yeah, it's kind of rap, but it's kind of not. So one night I actually went to the Latin Quarter with him and I heard this group, Audio 2, that had this record, I Like Cherries. And I said, this is brilliant. Because the boy Giz was like talking and Milk was rapping. I liked it. So we had a release party for our album. That was the first album, On Fire at the Palladium in New York. And, you know, pretty much the whole hip hop generation came out. So Light came, everybody came, and Milk came. And when I met Milk, I said, yo, if you ever need somebody to produce you, I'll produce you. And he ran all giddy back to his father. So I went into the studio to make records on them. I was making this record called Make It Funky that was basically, I was basically copying the format of I Like Cherries. So just, you know, I Like Cherries was real light. I was doing, you know, my thick production with it. And, you know, we had some machines. They had machines. It was out in Staten Island. They had some machines. They had an SP12, but it was the older one. And we went upstairs, me, Giz, and the father went upstairs and we were talking. Milk stayed downstairs. And then Milk ran back upstairs like it was a fire. And we were like, what happened? He said, you got to come downstairs and hear what I'm doing. And he rapped top billing to us the way we hear it on record. And the way that happened was I had a pattern in the drum machine. He had a record called Impeach the President by the Honey Drippers that he wanted to sample. He threw it in there and hit play. It was my pattern beating up that Impeach the President that went to pop, because that's all he got was boop, top, top. And right. So my pattern made it go boop, the boop, the boop, the boop, the boop, the boop. My pattern did that. And they were like, after he did it, we all stood, you know, and he thought we were looking at him because we were whack. And I was like, no, this is great. And then they were like, yo, so we're going to take it in a big studio? I was like, no. I mastered top billing off a 4-track, bro.
Wow. A 4-track?
Yeah,
wow.
It's about feeling. It's all about feeling. It's got nothing to do with people always running out there buying a bunch of equipment, man. Save your money, man. Learn how to make it yourself. Learn how to do things. Because the bottom line is that.
I'm going to ask you a fun fact.
Okay.
How did you get, because when you're listening to MC, when you're listening to the top bill in that record, you hear the record playing before he actually raps through the whole record.
I didn't do that. Milk did that. Milk found a way. It's a reverse delay. You could do that with tape. George Clinton used to do it too.
Wow.
You could do it with tape. You could do it with tape. You can't do it with
digital.
Well, now I think you could do it digitally now.
Now you can. All
yeah,
right,
but we did it with tape.
The last two names I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to ask you another question pertaining to all these people that I mentioned. Kane and Foxy Brown.
Kane, I toured with Kane for years. I was around for Big Daddy Kane, just the whole development. I watched him from the time he was just kind of brand new dude featuring on a Biz Markie record to really developing his style and ended up being Big Daddy Kane. Kane is an interesting individual because in the very beginning, you can hear all the influence, all the Grandmaster Caz influence and all of that. But once he got into his Grizzly, you can't hear nobody but Kane. You hear nobody but him. I mean, you never hardly hear people say, oh, Kane got his. You never hear nobody say Kane got his from so-and-so. He might tell you Caz, Mel. He might tell you that. But Kane sounded like Kane. Like he just owned it. He really, he went into a mode, man. He got I don't know, man. If there's, I'm trying to figure out if there's anybody that's ever been Big Daddy Kane, because this is what I remember. I remember most of the time, cats didn't really want to make records for chicks because they hood card would get pulled if they was on some lovey dovey. But Kane was one of the few people that if you go to a Big Daddy Kane party, brother, if you're trying to get a date, if you're trying to get a date, yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go, bro.
So someone
and I'm talking about every thorough dude is there too. Like I'm not talking about punk dudes. I'm talking about straight thorough.
Come on, son. They're gonna go where the chicks are.
Man.
They wanted you to finish your thought. You said something, the bottom line, and I guess I must have cut you off. You were saying the bottom line. They wanted you to finish your thought on that.
I don't know what we were talking about, and I would. I don't know where that. If they could find out where I was at with the bottom line, I'll remember it.
May hit me up. So let me ask you this: with all these artists that you worked with, who intrigued you the most?
Two people. One is Jeffrey Osborne, because I produced a record on Jeffrey Osborne where I played every instrument and I wrote the whole song. So it's all me. And he came and did it in one take, and I was crying like a baby. Because this is Jeffrey Osborne that I work with at LTD, not work with, that I listened to as a kid, Love to the World, Love Ballad, all of those songs, And this is Jeffrey Osborne singing my song, and he knows it. He's not using a piece of paper. He knows it by heart. He cuts it in one take. Amazing. Wow. Amazing.
Who's the other?
It's more than two. I would say the other one is Gene Barge. He's now 94. I did a record with Gene Barge. Actually, he's 95 now, because I did a record with him when he was 92. And I found out later on, for years I've been saying that this Pigmeat Markham record, Here Come the Judge, is a rap record. For years I've been saying that. Because Pigmeat Markham, I used to have a 45, I'm so mad I don't have it anymore. It goes, hear ye the quarter swing. I'm just about ready to do that thing. I don't want no tears. I don't want no lies. Further on, I don't want no alibis. This judge is tipped, and that ain't all. He'll give you time that's rap.
Yeah.
And that's the 60s, right? So I always thought that was that. And then I found out I'm making a record with Gene Barge and Chuck D and Gary U.S. Bonds. And I find out that Gene Barge actually produced Here Come the Judge. And he said, no, Daddy-o, it wasn't only that. And then I'll tell you why it was impressive working with him. He said, no, Daddy-o, it wasn't only him. He said, Rufus, who's that? Rufus Thomas that did that? He said, Pigmeat Markham that did that? He said, he wasn't even one of the good ones. He said, they was all rapping, Daddy-o. He said, I used to have a guy come here and he tap and rap. But what impressed me was we were doing this record that went number one the year I was born. It went number one. The record by Gary U.S. Bonds called Quarter to Three. And we did a remake. Me and Chuck is in the record, and I produced it with him. And watching him produce as a 92-year-old man was the most amazing thing in the world. I remember one time he told the drummer, man, he said, man, you corny, man. Why don't you sit this one out, man? Why don't you sit this one out, man? Just listen. I just want to hear the horns and the piano and the bass play, man. You corny, man.
Wow.
Yo, this dude was so offended. This guy had to get his chops together, man. Okay. But it was dope because I'm watching him do all these arrangements, like with horns and vocals. It was just amazing.
So let me ask you this. What advice or life-changing moment did an artist give to you that influences the course of your life now?
There's a few. There's a few. Melly Mel.
What did Melly Mel tell you?
Melly Mel, when I got, because we got our deal through a contest. Melly Mel, when I got off the stage, He gave me props and he says, Daddy-o, you do it just like I do it. You give 50% to the crowd and take 50% for yourself. You'll never go wrong. And I've always used that rule, and I've never went wrong. Never, ever.
Wow.
Let me see who else.
To the audience and 50% to you.
Yeah, because we get twisted, and especially now, people get so selfish they think they're making music for themselves. Like,
right?
What?
You'll never lose yourself, but you'll always stay true to the audience.
Exactly.
My son put me on to this cat.
Okay.
I would hear his music, but I really didn't pay attention to it till my son said, "You need to listen to this, Pops." His name was Juice WRLD.
Yeah, I love Juice WRLD. We just did a record. Actually, we're doing a record. It's almost finished. That song is doing a record called "Fallen Soldiers" right now. It's dope. It's real dope.
So let me ask you a question, because I listened to this dude's his music, and one particular song, "Wishing Well." This young man was crying out for help in his music.
Absolutely.
Crying out for help. And I'm listening to the people of this particular genre of rap, and I'm listening to their music, and it sounds to me, and I want you to check me because you the OG. It sounds to me like it's hurt music. Not music what I went through and where I came.
No. It's all pain music. And this is the premise of my Self-Destruction 2 project that I'm working on. I want the young kids to come through and bleed the pain. Because here's the deal. Your son has the right answer. He's got the right answer. Because the right answer is getting you to listen to Juice WRLD. The right answer is not getting him to listen to Juice WRLD. The right answer is that we need to know that they are hurting. I just told somebody that it's bothering me. I'm getting to the point of almost tears every day, the way they demonize these kids. These kids are not demons. They may be following demons, but they are not demons themselves. And it's hurting me now. And it's hurting me because they're bleeding, but the adults don't hear them. You wouldn't have heard them if your son didn't say, you need to listen.
Yeah, he when I heard it, my son, when he played it for me, he said, "Pops, listen to it."
Right.
I'm like, come on. When he played it, I cried, bro.
Yeah.
I cried. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, yo, this dude, a young man. If you listen to the lyrics, he wasn't bad at lyrics. The guy was good.
Right.
To be able to articulate yourself and let them know exactly how you're feeling, that's not no easy feat, because there's a lot of people, when we look at hip hop and the balance of lyricism, you have some cats that was corny, like again, I don't want to take away from people that added to hip hop, but you have a Rob Bass. Lyrically, he wasn't top tier. He's sitting in the basement. But when you listen to this young man who tells you exactly what he's feeling and telling you, and there's nothing that you have to imagine. He's telling you what it is,
Right.
So, question. You have the power to influence new artists and people in general. How do you pour positivity into the community?
The young boy told me that you gotta put the medicine in the candy jar, and that's what I do.
Talk to me. What does that mean? Break it down for
me. It means that I gotta let them know that it means I gotta let them know I relate to them. It means I gotta let them know I know where they coming from. I understand the pressure. I see what it is. I know why you on the block. I see why you carry a gun. I know why you probably pop, pills or whatever. Like I gotta explain to them that I know who they are, right? And then I just tell them who I follow. You know who I follow, bro? You know who I follow, Bolo?
Talk to me.
My leader, right, was with his crew one day, and they walked past a fig tree. And the fig tree didn't give my leader fruit. So my leader cursed the fig tree. The guys that was with him thought, oh, maybe it was a little magic trick or something. When they come back, it's going to be, the figs are going to still be there. When they came back, the fig tree was still dead. You don't serve my purpose, man. You need to move aside, man. There's only one representative, man, of true life, man. There's only one real gangster, man. If y'all want to talk about it, man, it's
Tell me
Jesus
that.
Christ, man. He the only one. He the only one that talked that, man. You know
Come
what I'm
on,
saying? He talked that, man. He talked that, man. We turning over tables over here, man. You heard me? Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to explain to them what you're trying to get. The Messiah has.
Talk that.
I get it. I'm from East New York. I'm from East New York. I got that. Listen, man, I was 15 years old carrying 2 guns, man. Jumping the turnstile. Now, carrying 2 guns is one thing. Why was I carrying 2 guns and jumping a turnstile?
Because you from Brooklyn.
So this dude tells me, right, once I get acquainted with him and his Holy Spirit, right, he says, that whole time I was looking out for you. I see where you was.
Word. You had to go through that. So now, you know, that experience you had to go through so that now that you are where you are, you have that wisdom and knowledge, and now you can apply that understanding and let the youngins know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
When you know, again, I'm going to ask you, you know, I'm sorry that, you know, we see in your age, you see in my age too, but when did you see the painful decline in the youth of in mental health? In the youth's mental health, you see that turn. Well, because you know this is segueing into your music, right?
Well, I guess if I was to ever think, I never thought about that. So that's a good question.
You know, you cats be arguing all the damn time. You know, I'll be listening to you and my brother when we be on the phone, y'all arguing about everything else. I'm glad I stumped you. Go ahead. When did you see the painful decline in the youth's music?
I would probably say around that. I don't know if crack came before latchkey or latchkey became before crack. But I tell people all the time, I could not be in my mama's house if she wasn't there. I had to stay with Miss Hortense until she came home.
Village.
Latchkey wasn't a thing in my community. It wasn't. You don't go in my mama's house and you just there by yourself. What you gonna do? Go through her stuff? No, that's not happening. Elders are missing in the community. Hip hop especially. This is where I get in trouble. They hate Daddy-O because I say this all the time. Juice WRLD's your kid. You know, Roddy Ricch is your kid. Kodak Black is your kid. What are you doing, Dad? And they get mad at me. Because, no, that's your responsibility because it ain't Kenny Rogers' kid. And it ain't Bob Marley kid. And it ain't Bon Jovi kid. It's your responsibility. But I think around that time that kids were able to like double parents, right? Even if they had double parents, both parents working, they opening the door by themselves. They getting on school buses. They going to school. You know, kids was walking to school, all that kind of stuff. Now they getting on buses. They going to school and they coming home by themselves. Lunchables become popular. They you know, now you got these stacked processed meals and all of that kind of stuff. Like it happened when the parents began to be absent, however that was. Because I think in the suburbs it would probably be different than in a crack infested community, but the result is the same.
It's the same, right?
Yeah.
Because the parents are not there, regardless of whether it's crack or you went to go to work.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it ends up being the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems to me that music, what do you think? Like this, where do you think, like if you had to pinpoint where you think the next 5 years of where hip hop is going? Because you know the younger G's got it now. They got it.
Well, I have great hope when I hear music. Period. It's just an issue of development. I don't know what it's going to sound like. I know it's going to be great. You know what I mean? I don't know what it's going to sound like, but I'm inspired by a lot of young artists. You know, a lot of today's artists, and I see where they're trying to go with it. We'll see how long conceptually like ballad-ish type of records make it, you know.
Right.
You know, like late at night or I will wait for you. You know, because that's where it's all kind of headed right now. It's like
Right.
it's all that kind of stuff. And even though the guys try to throw a couple of tough lines in there, they're still begging and pleading, right? They all keep sweat right now. So we'll see how long that's gonna last. But I see where they trying to go with it. You know, it's a little more musical now. I mean, they use, you know, a lot of big chords and strings and stuff like that. So I see where they trying to go with it. I saw Rich Homie Quan just dropped a joint and he said bubblegum music is over. So that made me feel good because I like Quan and I know where he coming from. And if Rich Homie Quan is saying that, then that means that there's got to be 10 or 12 of them that's saying the same thing. I'm
Okay.
sure Rod Wave is waiting. I'm sure that YBN Corday got something in the cap, you know. And this boy Roddy Rich ain't no joke, man. He's articulate, man. You know what I'm saying? So I know they want to move forward, and then they got help because they got Kendrick and Cole dropping things in there and making records with them, showing
Right.
them that they can progress. Because I don't think if they didn't have nobody in their peer group that showed them that they could move forward, I don't think they would. I really don't.
Absolutely.
But then when you take a guy like Kendrick and he puts Kodak all over his album,
right,
it's gonna help Kodak, bro.
There's got to be an influence. There's got
exactly.
And you know, and that's what we talk about here all the time about, you know, knowing who you're pouring into and the people
Right.
that you have around you, and you be the influence, not them being the influence
Right.
of you.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
the children nowadays are exposed to so much. How are
Oof.
you to get through the layers of disrespect to hand them fatherly wisdom? How would you do that through the music? Because we're going to listen to one of your songs that you're doing.
Okay.
You know
I tell you. Here's the first thing. Honestly,
talk to
no
me.
disrespect to nobody in life. All right. You gotta spit fire, man. That's the first thing, man. You gotta be nice, man. You just gotta be nice. Listen, man.
Explain
Listen to me. Listen to me. A Constitution to the Golden Era classic. The little one is Stetsasonic with the glasses. That means I see you 4 times before I cock and shoot. That's a +3 times to dispose of you. I'm nice, B. I'm nice. I'm nice.
So in other words, what you're saying, from how I'm reading it, as a younger bro, you're saying that you have to have respect in the streets.
You gotta scorch them. You have to scorch them a little bit for them to say, "Oh," because they be thinking they doing it until they run up on somebody like me, and they be like, "Oh," because I'm a student of Melly Mel and Kaz. What do you expect? You expect me to stay here and let you just talk? No, I'm in a battle rap crew, bro. I'm in Team Hami. Like, no. That's the first thing, man. We gotta spit fire. When you spit fire, you get respect. You get respect because you spit in fire.
Got you. So then
I be writing lines like this. Conrad Murray a case because I kill mics. What? Huh? No, leave me alone, young boy. Go say that stuff you say. Because the stuff I say, you're gonna feel young. You will feel young. You'll feel young and experienced. You'll feel all that. It's like anything. It's just like, no disrespect, right? I'm just going to give an example because I have friends in every area of life. So I'm just being honest.
Go ahead, baby.
A young pimp can't tell OG nothing. What you talking about?
Absolutely.
My man just told me the other day. He and because my man, Kenny Red just passed away. So they just had the funeral and everything. But my man was telling me he was hanging out with Don Juan, right? And him and Don Juan and them, they in the room and they talking, Don Juan is dropping game, right? He's dropping game. But it's all internal. It's all internal. It's all crew. My man is down with them. The young boy walks in. He walks in, Don Juan spits the same thing that he'd been spitting to everybody else. and the young boy hands him $5,000 and leaves. The game is to be sold, not to be told. The bottom line, though, is the elders need to do their thing to get that respect. Then we could talk about everything else. You know what I'm saying? And this happened to be rhyming. This happened to be rhyming. This ain't pimping. You know what I'm saying? But this happened to be this happened to be rhyming. We gotta show that we have that skill. The other thing that we have to do is we gotta be familiar, because if you're an old school guy, and let's just say, because now it's happening now, right? You get put on a festival date, like a Lollapalooza-ish type of date, like a Rolling Loud type of date. Right. It's almost a guarantee you're gonna run into like all of these popular artists. You're an old school rapper, Vince Staples passes you. If you can't tell him one of the records you like that he made, or something that he did, or something he said on Sway, or whatever, if you can't let that young boy know who he is,
they're not trying to hear you.
They're not trying to hear you, bro. You're just an old man.
So we gotta reach out and bridge that gap.
We gotta do it, and we gotta be fly doing it. That's the other thing that we gotta do. You know, we can't be wearing these big ass clothes with names across the shirt and shit, looking stupid with a baseball hat on. Stop it, man. Stop it.
You know,
Stop it, man.
Fire, right? I spit hot fire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? I spit hot fire. I only do about 2 bars, though. That's all I do is 2 bars. That's all I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm in and out, baby. In and out.
Yeah, but as long as they respect it, man, that's really the main thing, bro.
Let me ask you this: where would you be if you didn't have the old school music influence?
You mean as a musician?
I'm talking about as you today.
A person. If I didn't do it, or do you mean if I didn't do music?
Do both. Where would you be if you didn't have that old school influence in music? Or where would you be if you didn't have that old school influence in life?
Old school influence in music, I don't know where I would be. I think I would probably be lost, though. I can't see myself being like dope without that. You know what I'm saying? Because, even when you mixing, like when I'm mixing, right? I go into a big room to mix a record. I'm going to take a couple of pieces of music that I really respect, and I'm going to A/B. Most of the time, it's usually 2 records. It's usually Dr. Dre's Chronic album and James Brown's Hot Pants album. And I'm listening to them, and then I'm listening to my mix, and then I'm listening to them, and I'm listening to my mix. Are they the same? No, they absolutely not the same. 2 totally different time periods, all of that type of stuff. But I know what I want. And I try to get as close to that as I possibly can. So without that, I think I would be lost. In life, I would probably be selling women's shoes. Yeah. Either that or glasses.
Okay. What elder outside of your parents turned you from a dark path?
I probably start off with Bishop McKinley. He passed away, but Bishop McKinley at Elam International in Brooklyn, I think, definitely them. I mean, I like. I got a three lady thing in my head, which is my mama, Mother Teresa, and Harriet Tubman.
Can't go wrong with that.
There's some styles about the stuff that they did that's just kind of crazy. The block was always straight for me. You know what I mean? Like they wasn't never trying to see me. They never wasn't trying to see me in the street. They ain't know I had them guns. If they would have knew I had them guns, they would have took them from me.
Right. But see, that's why the village is so important. So let me ask you,
they would have took them.
What influenced you to make PTSD and mental illness?
So I noticed that, and then I'll tell you about my personal experience, but I noticed that the concept of mental illness is still taboo to talk about in the Black community. Like, and I don't mean taboo. That's one thing, but the still is the part that kind of gets me, right? That it's been all of this time, and we know people were messed up, and we done had brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles that's been in the military, and we done seen this veteran thing. We done seen it all, but we still don't talk about it. So that was one. And then I've always felt weird about not getting any training after slavery. That's always been weird to me. Right? It's like you do all of this shit, right? And then you say, I'm free. You don't send me to nothing. You don't send me for nothing for the damn things on my back. you don't send me to nothing. You just say you free, and then you still fucking lynching me. Like, whoa. So I'm saying, and that's what I talk about in the record. Like, that's no different than me growing up around this gunslinging and then hearing a firecracker outside and grabbing my gun.
Oh, so what you're doing is you're making a comparison from being let go of slavery opposed to let go of the gun violence.
It's the same thing. It's so weird, like how we just stuck. And so I said, man, honestly, you want to keep it a buck. And I know some people might argue with me, you know, Black folks been in a continuous cycle of PTSD. You know? Now it's starting to be everybody. Now it's starting to be everybody, which is crazy. But now it's starting to be everybody. But you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. So I made the PTSD record just based on that concept. I was not going to do no album.
Okay.
But so when I made the PTSD record, I said, but there's other stuff. And then this is what happened. PTSD, I sample LL Cool J because there's a record LL Cool J has called Get No Rougher. Whenever I need letters, I get it from that song because he says every letter clear. So I've done other records with using him too. Whenever I want to spell, yeah. Anytime I want to do that, I do that. So I did it, but my partner Lion, he's my partner in the label, but he's also the producer on the track, was like, "Yo, that sounds like Well, he said it sounds like Ecstasy.
It does.
From Houdini.
That's what I
thought. He calls Ja and asks if Houdini would do it, and Ja didn't really dig the record too much, but he did help me write Mental Health. He didn't write any lyrics. He told me how to do the record. He said, but you know what's ill, Daddy-O? Mental health is ill. And we stayed on the phone for an hour talking about mental health. And then he told me how to write this song. He was just like, you know, you can talk about it, but in the hook, you don't want to be sad too. He said, you don't want to be sad in the hook and sad on the verses.
Got you.
So that's where that whole, all my mind, you know, like I gotta get out. It's that type of thing. It's like, you know, leave it, escape on that hook.
Cause kind of like putting your head under the water and coming up for the breath.
Yeah. So I did the PTSD record. Sounded good to me. I did the mental health record. Sounded good to me. So I said, you know what? It's time to go. It's time to explore the concept. It's time to go. And so I just did the whole album. I did the whole album. The intro is ill. You know, I'm in an insane asylum in the intro. I did a record called ADHD. I did the suicide record, which it's a tough one to listen to, but I did it.
So why didn't you send me those, Daddy-O?
Oh, I said no, because you told me to send you 2 things. So I sent you 2 things. I'll send you the whole album.
Yeah, so let me play the PTSD so the people can hear what's going on.
Okay.
Because again, like I told you, our channel, we this is what we're based on. You know, we're based on.
Okay, cool.
So let me play this so the people can hear that he still got it. This is PTSD.
It's easy to see that your mind should be free.
It's easy to see that your mind should be free. Easy to see that your mind should be free.
PTSD. Oh, that truth. True School Entertainment. Yep. You know we had to talk about it. Here we go. I had a fight with a cop just a week ago. It was winter in New York, round 3 below. And I ain't even gotta tell you it was plenty snow. He threw a blow, I threw a blow. It all started when he yelled and I flashed back. Maybe East New York, maybe Iraq. I hear yelling and something make me wanna snap. The doctor gave me pills, but I gave them back. They say I'm sick in the head, I need therapy. That I'm a danger to folks, a danger to me. Run around jumping every time I hear a sound. That remind me of the life I had before right now. Bullets popping, bodies dropping, death all around. Beat, battered, and butchered, some was even drowned. They say I got a condition, but unbeknownst to me, my condition had me foolish and fighting police. I got a letter from the government a week ago. I opened it and read it. This what they let me know. That you no longer a slave, your family free to go. To a world full of hate you don't even know. They ain't tell me about my fate and lynchings ahead. MLK, Malcolm X would be shot dead. Integration be a bed that was never made. Whitney Houston, Charlie Murphy to an early grave. Plight of my people, PTSD. Bruised and bullied, no therapy. Shocked and uprooted, made to work for free 400 years ago. It's still affecting me. If we can save Adam, all were born in sin. Somebody is responsible then. I know I got a condition, but unbeknownst to me, all the time it was PTSD.
Easy to see. Hey. Hey.
I love that song.
That junk bumps, man. The record bumps, B.
I love that song.
Thank you, sir.
I told you, before we came on, that song, when I heard it, I was like, this song, not only it's, and this is no smoke blowing up your behind, man. And what I like about
I know you talk straight, brother, so I ain't worried about that.
It's perfectly done in the aspect of the lyrics is there and the music fits so perfectly that it's hand in hand.
Right,
so
right.
It makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
You have music that it has a destructive vibration to it. You know, this is why they don't really play 50 too much in the South. But
right.
when you hear this, you have that. Now I want to play mental illness because mental illness is deeper. You know,
mental health. I mean, PTSD. It could bring a tear to my eyes. The part that bothers me, with like the part that hurts me is, you know, that plight of my people. PTSD, bruised and battered, no therapy. Like, what the hell? Like, I just went through all of that. You understand? And then nobody ever told me all this other stuff.
So, you know, again, you know, that's why. You know, that's why I felt it was important to that you come up here and talk about it, because it, you know, if you look in the description of the channel, we have all the phone that talk, you know, that's 24 hours a day, free, 365 days a year, that if they don't feel comfortable coming here, they can call there. That's what we do here. You know,
you gonna love. You know what? I should have sent you. I'll send it to you though. You're gonna love this video. So here's my plan. I'll say it real quick.
Okay.
I want to close this. I have an album coming out on the 28th of this month. I want to close, or I have wanted to close this album out with a song on the album called "It's Over Now," and that video has actually mental health hotline and the suicide hotline on it. Because in It's Over Now, I'm talking about being a asshole and not seeing it before. I'm almost talking to Juice WRLD on this record.
Wow.
Because I'm saying I didn't see it. You left clues and I didn't. But I'm really exposing my damn neglect.
You know what's so crazy, Daddy-O? You and I never spoke about this. However, the reason why this channel was created was because my son, a good friend, and him and I, you know, we would talk. You know, the whole neighborhood called me Pops, and we talk and we build. And I would talk to him, and we talk about sneakers and all that stuff. And I'd ask him, "Are you good?" He'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good, Pops." I'm like, "You sure?" Like, "Yeah." 2 days after I asked him, "Is he good?" He committed suicide himself. You know, so, you know, it breaks my heart that these young men and young women feel that they can't talk to us. And what you said was so pivotal and paramount when it says that we got to let them know that we understand. We got to talk to them and let them know because we made it through. These young cats don't think they can, because back then we had our parents. Now, like you said, whether it's due to drugs or it's due to work and whatever, the parents aren't there and they end up in the same boat.
It's yo, bro, let me tell you something. By hook or crook. I might get in trouble for saying this too, but I don't care. Listen, because you know, this country already got a history of some people doing some undercover stuff to get money and all that. If our parents was in our lives the right way during the crack era, everybody be rich right now. Everybody would be rich.
So that's
everybody. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because you leaving these young men to a whole bunch of money and nobody advising them nothing to do with that money. So who got that money? Dapper Dan got that money. Every diner in New York City, right? We had what's that joint we had on Pennsylvania? Galaxy. But everywhere you went, the Bronx, everywhere, cats is back there eating lobster at night, all of that kind of stuff. No advice.
No advice.
You understand what I'm trying to say? No advice. And that's where it's hard, because we're demonizing these kids. And so
we got to talk.
We have to talk to them. But you know what though, bro? Here's another issue. And I'm glad it's you on the phone. I mean the whatever we doing, chat or whatever. Right. I can't say this no other way, so excuse my language. Niggas gotta stop being suckers. They look at us, they don't look at you like that. That's why I say I'm glad it's you, because they don't look at you like that. They don't look at me like that. Look at old niggas like, please, because they be wearing them big T-shirts with letters across and shit.
You
Baseball.
know why? You know what it is, Daddy? I figured it out, man. I figured
What?
it out. I don't think it's going to be, too popular, but I figured it out. You see, when you're talking about getting that understanding and that pain, that memorization is what kills the old man, right? So the old man, when he's made it, he doesn't want to remember the pain no more. He just want to look into the future and remember the birds and the bees. He doesn't want to remember the fighting that he had to do and all the dragons and lions that he had to pull through. So he lets that part of the story go. So that's like going to a movie, only seeing the movie. You
Part
hear
of
no
it.
sound. You're
Yeah.
not getting
You hear no sound. Yeah.
So these youngins, so when these older guys talk to these youngins, they've left that pain and struggle and that understanding of the pain and struggle so far behind that when they talk to them, they speak to them in an arrogant attitude.
It's condescending all the time.
And we need to remember, and that's why God tells you with your knowledge and understanding, knowledge and wisdom, but with all that I get understanding, because
exactly
empathy is what's important. But here's a question: with the song that you just did, are you encouraging people? Okay, Village. Are you encouraging people to go seek professional help because people with self-diagnosed, depression?
I always will, because of a personal experience. I had a business partner and really trusted him. I mean, like the way you trust a wife or something, but there ain't none of that funny business going on. But I really trusted him, and he did some really foul things to me. And I really was breaking down. Like, I just couldn't understand it because, we came into business together and the whole plan was to get rich together. And he just did some foul things and went off and got money on his own when I was supposed to be part of that. And that was the first time I went to therapy. And it really helped. Like, it really, really helped. Like, it was so different. Everybody's, oh, I don't got to tell nobody my problems. I'm like, you don't understand. Let me explain to you real therapy, and let me give you daddy-o therapy, how therapy works. Daddy-o, one-on-one, right? You go to your therapist. You see the first date. All she does is sit there with a damn yellow pad. Right? Asks a couple of questions, but she just lets you talk, right? So you go see your therapist, and you tell yourself, oh, man, I hate the A train. I hate the A train. It takes me so long to get on that A train, blah, blah, blah. So she just listens to you, whatever. Week 5, you come back and you go, I really love the A train. I loved it. It was so fast today. And she goes, week 1, you said you didn't like. You know what my therapist told me? My therapist said to me, she said, what's your biggest fear, right? I said, riding the train again. That's funny, I made a train example, but I would say riding the train again, because at that time I'm taking cabs and everything. Everywhere and everything. And she says, until you realize that the guy that takes the cab and the guy that's on the train is the same person, you're never gonna be all right. She told me to my face. She said, you're never gonna be all right.
And you know what? She was deep. And that's true, because talk therapy, right? We have a resident doctor, right? Our name is resident doctor that's here. And when we talk about talk therapy, bro, it is so beautiful in the aspect of your mind's eye is so strong, because that problem that you had when you were younger, you left it there. You never went back. You never went back. And when you are laying back comfortably and you're in a room, because they're going to tell you, know that you're comfortable and know that you're safe, because we're about to go back into a place that's unsafe. And here's the beauty in going back into that place. You have a camera where you can see anything and everything from a position of not being in it. So that younger Bolo that was in it, the older Bolo ain't there.
Yeah.
Bolo ain't there. So now you can see it from an older view, what the younger you were going through that couldn't articulate or understand.
It's true. It's very true.
Let's play mental illness, and then we'll come back. Here's mental illness.
Okay.
Mental health.
Beats by Daddy O.
For my mental health. Gotta get out, gotta enjoy myself. For my mental health. Gotta get out, gotta enjoy myself. Here we go. Little boy down the block from me, diagnosed with the ADD. He drinks sodas in the cereal suite. They never checked on the food he eat. Check it, he on the same meds as Niecy and Kim. They both strippers and identical twins. Diagnosed with the clinical depression, which remind me of the kid Skinny Kevin. He depressed and the doctor called him manic. He a cop used to seeing people panic. He got a daughter studied pre-law at Seton Hall. A student, but at night she on the Adderall. She say she got it from Bay. He played basketball. Trouble sleeping at night. He on the barbital. And about the barbital, that's ill. My insomnia, I take the same pills. For my mental health. Gotta get out, gotta enjoy myself. For my mental health. Gotta get out, gotta enjoy myself. Little boys think they girls inside. Little girls on the south side, suicide. And for my mind and for my mental health, every chance I get, I enjoy myself. School teachers are shook. Will a kid shoot? Human traffic illegal, but will they prosecute? Love hip hop and kids, he wanna try it. But did she grow that butt or did she buy it? All commercials on the TV, pushing meds, medicating all the soldiers who fought and bled. Homeless man screaming down the block on Ativan. My brother on the same meds, he a fireman. Postpartum depression, teen girl, we got the same therapist. Small world, mental illness is ill. That's all I gotta say. And I need a break. I gotta get away. For my mental health. Gotta get out, gotta enjoy myself. For my mental health. Gotta get out, gotta enjoy myself.
Beats by Daddy O.
Fire, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
What inspired that song?
I'm just, watching television. When I was a kid, the only medicine commercials we ever saw was Bayer aspirin and maybe a little later on NyQuil or something. We never saw a prescription because if my auntie had medicine, her doctor was going to tell her the side effects and everything. Only reason, is the weird thing. The only reason medicine commercials on TV now is to make money because nobody needs to know that. You're going to find that out from your doctor anyway. But it kind of sparked me to kind of think about when I look at people. I always look at people as tribes. I look at one person like a seed is a tree. I look at people as tribes. So when I look at people and I hear philosophy, I say, oh, I wonder how many people think like that because I know it's just not this person, right? And so seeing what's going on, I'm like, this has got to be widespread. So a lot of times I do album covers and video ideas in my mind before I write songs. So like, I have to, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Mental health has to be shot in Walmart and I have to be pushing a cart and seeing all these people that I'm talking about. I'm walking and Double Dose Twins have to be in my video. Like they're the twins. That's Niecy and Kim. I just see them one time pushing past. Tall boy with the basketball, but it's gotta be Walmart. Like it can't even be another place. Walmart's gotta actually let me say I can use Walmart.
Yeah. You gotta talk to the Walmart people.
Yeah.
It's very,
because we walk past people every day that have problems, but we don't know, right? And then the bottom line is that, like, I don't know, man, it's just so silent. Like, I'm not saying clinical depression doesn't exist. I cannot argue with that kind of thing. I can't argue that sometimes medication might be needed. I can't argue with that. I can go on a Dr. Sabi rant, but I'm not going to do that, right? But the point of the matter is, the more comfortable you are with it, which is weird to say, but I know I'm right here. The more comfortable you are with it is then the more comfortable you're going to be able to share. And it's no different than a family member knowing, you know, did you take your meds? You know, boom, boom, boom. If they see something going on, they might say, hey, did you not take your meds today? Or, you know, all those type of things. When you share, when you're comfortable with it, you'll share and then people will understand. One of the biggest problems with mental health is people being by themselves. I had a friend, I just told my friend that today. My friend called me and says, man, you know, it just haven't been working right, Daddy. Oh, man, you know, it seems like every time I take a step forward, you know, I take a step back. I said, man, you by yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? That this is not cool like that you by yourself. You know, you need to get with some people. You know, you need somebody praying for you. You need somebody encouraging you. You need somebody telling you it's going to be all right. Like, you need that kind of thing. But being by yourself, you're going to end up in a dark and dangerous place. You're going to really, really end up in a dark and dangerous place. So I just feel like if I could get that, I mean, really, like I said, sometimes I do the song with videos in mind, and I'm like, if I write this record, man, I get this Walmart thing, man, this is crazy. Because, you know, that to me is the epitome of it. Like, it's the people we driving by every day. It's the people we walking by. It's the people we push shopping carts around every day that, like, they're going through it. And then, like, nobody, maybe besides the preacher on the street, is even caring.
And, you know,
it's so crazy. Like, nobody cares. Like, I'm like, what?
And that's what's so important, Daddy. You know, it's important because we don't know how simple a high can change the trajectory of someone's life. Or someone's.
It's true. It's true. It's very true. Man, I seen something happen, right? So we was in New York. This is before we left New York, and I was still a part of Elam. And this is before Bishop had died. And he sent us out to pray for people. And he said, you don't have the right to argue with anybody about the Bible. You don't have the right to debate. I'm not giving you any of those rights. I will send you out there with some Bibles and stuff. If people want it, they could do it. But all you're going to do is pray for people. And he taught us how. And he taught us how to, you know, Bishop is not a guy who prays with his eyes closed. He doesn't do that. He looks you in your face. He teaches you how the Holy Spirit can discern. And bro, we on the corner of Nostrand Avenue and Fulton Street. Busy right near the train station. Busy right past the train station. Right now, listen to what I'm saying. I'm confirming your point of what a high would do. I'm talking about people coming down the street looking mad and rugged, and we say, "Can we pray for you?" And they just stop and say, "Oh, of course." 90% of the people we asked, could we pray for you, stopped. Everybody who you thought wouldn't stop, stopped. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they come down the street. Some of my team members is like, this one ain't gonna stop. They stop.
Let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Did therapy help you identify emotional distress through these songs?
Say that one more time.
Did therapy help you identify emotional distress through these songs?
Oh, of course. I mean, let me tell you what therapy was.
You know, the reason why I'm asking you, let me tell you the reason why I'm asking you. The reason why I'm asking you is this. One, you're an OG. Two, you 100% authentic.
Thank you.
And
thank
three,
you.
You from Brooklyn. So I want these cats to know, these men to know that you're not weak, you're not a
Well, let me tell you what therapy is. When I was in Harlem, I stayed in a place that I thought was a great place. It was in a brownstone, but it was the bottom level. It was the basement. But I had a lot of room. I had a garden in the back. I liked it. I thought it was dope. I had a laundry room, everything.
You from Brooklyn.
when I met
So I
my
want
wife,
no.
listen, when I met my wife, she said, "Why are you paying this much in Harlem? I know some real estate agents out in Queens. I had never lived in Queens. I know some real estate agents out in Queens. You can get something better." Do you know when I realized how detrimental low ceilings were? When I had high ceilings.
Wow.
Low ceilings are very dangerous. That's why they do the jail cells the way they do them. It is a I can't even tell you what it does to your mind. It's just so crazy because you don't know it until you do it. So I say the same thing about therapy. You think you okay. You in this great apartment. You in Sugar Hill in Harlem. You got a garden in the back. You think you're great until you know your woman shows you a place that you renting a whole house for the same price, and your ceilings are high and you got a backyard and all of that kind of stuff. You just boom. That's therapy. Because never do you have, I can say that a million times. Never do you have anybody that you could ever talk to unbiased. Everybody got opinion, even your wife. Sorry to say, but it's true. So what happens is that people are judgmental when you release, and that's why you stop releasing. Because if you tell somebody something and they laugh at you, or you tell somebody, "Oh, you full of it, man," or you tell someone, "Oh, that's not really true," or you tell something, then you close up, and then you don't say anything to anybody. And dealing with that stuff on your own. We were not, listen, long time ago, the Holy Spirit told me something that I'll say this to you, but this is the first time I'm saying it publicly because I don't want to argue with theologians.
Talk to us.
Because theologians say the purpose of man is to serve God. The Holy Spirit told me a long time ago, I ain't make y'all for me. I made y'all for y'all. I heard it clear. And I tell my kids that all the time. I said, because the way I describe it is real simple. An old Brooklyn story. I'm living on what street is that? This is when we did the St. Mary's Park, Buffalo. I'm living on Prospect Place between Park and Buffalo. Okay?
All right.
And there's a corner store. That I've been going to since, a little kid, 8, 9 years old, right? Imagine going to that corner store and you saying, because we used to say Mr. all the time, right, to the store man. Imagine going to that corner store and going, Mr., and he doesn't talk to you. See how much you need people? And people, what's so dangerous now is post-pandemic, so many folks are used to being alone. And they've got accustomed to it. We're real close to Star Trek and living in a damn thing.
Living in the ships.
Yeah, man. What the hell?
But
you know what I'm saying?
I think what you said, right? That he made us for us. I think that if we dive deep into it, like the Lord,
right?
But the
he
Lord,
don't.
Because of the example that he led, and that
right.
he left, and that he is, he's trying to show us how important we are to ourselves through the example that he has
right.
left, and through the love that we ought to have one towards another. Man,
right.
God is, listen, man. God is no joke. God is no joke. But I know the audience has some questions, and I know you got things to do. One person asked a question that I'm going to ask you. You mentioned earlier, you said that you really don't need that much equipment after you said that you did audio. I think it was audio 2 on a 4-track.
Mm-hmm. Right.
My question to you is, for these youngins right now that are inspiring to come out here and do music, what would you suggest? Like, if they need to have essential equipment, what would you say that essential equipment should be?
A laptop. I prefer Mac, but it could be a PC. And then ProSonus, the company ProSonus, ProSonus, has a package called Studio One that you could buy for $400. It comes with the speakers, the mic, and the DI box. and you're done. I mean, basically, unless I mean you do want to get one of these bad boys. Hold on. These things here, it's called a Kiotica eyeball. It goes around the mic. The mic is inside of this.
Okay.
But basically, see the mic is in here. But
Right.
basically, what these things do is a few of these. I mean, you don't have to get the Kiotica. There's a few of, but what that does is it. Back in the day, we used to soundproof the room.
Right.
Now
So
you
you don't need-
soundproof the mic. Exactly. But
Wow.
that's probably that's the extra piece that you would need to get would be that mic thing. But other than that, a computer and the what you call them setup is good. And then I mean honestly, if you get a Mac, it's gonna come with GarageBand anyway, and you set. I mean you good money. I make bro. But when I play some of the stuff that I make, people be like that one I did in my sister-in-law's bedroom. That one I was in Kansas doing a project. I cut records wherever I go, man.
Right. Well, listen, man. I'm gonna throw this link because I want, Lyric to come up here. Throw this link in. Hold on, let me paste it. There we go. I know she has some questions that she would like to ask. Because we about to let
That'd be good.
You've been here for almost 2 hours, man. I appreciate because I know you're
Hey,
busy.
no problem.
You know,
How we get down. We get down.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring her up, and she is. This is one of pillars in this village, right? We have another brother named Anthony. That's in
Okay.
and I believe she is. So Lyric, this is Daddy O. Daddy O, this is Lyric.
Hey.
We can't hear you. Lyric.
I see her. I see the picture up there, but
Yeah. Something might be. Hold on, she's on mute. I can't unmute you, Lyric. I don't know if something is wrong. But so let me ask you a question. So what are some of the pitfalls that these cats right now are in music? Because right now you don't have to have a label. You know what I'm saying? The way it's set
technically.
up,
Yeah, technically,
you
yeah.
don't need it, right? You don't need what as a young new artist coming out, how would you suggest that they protect themselves from any deals, any contracts, or
I mean, for me, it would be the same way that I would think I would do it, which is I never forget the first time I went in the studio, the engineer was like, yo, how do you know all this? And I said, because I read books. And he was like, you never been in the studio? And I was like, no. He's like, but you know what that is? You know what that is? I say, yeah, I read it in books. I couldn't wait to see it because I've been seeing it in books, The easiest way to protect yourself is by knowing stuff. I tell young people all the time, and I did this too, learn how to do everything, right? So it doesn't mean you're gonna do everything. Like I hate mixing records. I hate it, but I know how to do it.
Right.
I hate scratching on a record, but I know how to do it. But I mean, I'm gonna get Cheese or one of them to do it because I'm not that guy. But it's the same thing when I do music. As a producer, I'm an electronic producer. I'm not like talented musically like that. Like I'm not no savant. So I'll play a bass line and then I'll go get the bass man to really play it. I'll play some chords and then I'll go get somebody else to really play the chords. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The issue though, the point I'm making is I know how to do it all. Am I the greatest singer? No, I'm not the greatest singer, but all those records you heard, that's me singing. All of them. The high voice, the high voice. No, but my point of matter is that I know how to do it. Is what I'm trying to say,
right.
And that's the way you protect yourself because they can't hand you a bum contract or tell you, oh, this time is gonna take all of that if you already know. And you're like, are you kidding me, man? I'll give you, but don't BS me, man. because I could do this. And when you do that, when you know it, this stuff, then it's easier for you. I don't mean you're going to go to law school, but you can read books that really help you and guide you with contracts. I mean, trust me when I tell you what I tell you. Well, I used to tell this to my kids when they were growing up. They still understand it now. Anything you're talking about, somebody done wrote a book about it. I don't care what it is.
Absolutely.
Somebody done wrote about it. And so I'm not talking about a meme, and I'm not talking about a movie. I'm talking about a book that somebody took their time and said, I went through this and I need to let people know my story. That's what bestsellers are made of. So the bottom line is that there's enough information out there now for you to read. There's enough books out there, all of that. Yeah, YouTube is cool, all of that. But there's enough books out there for you to read that when you accost anybody, you'll know exactly what you're talking about. I tell people all the time, if you meet Quincy Jones and you say to Quincy Jones, oh man, that album you made, The Dude, man, that was a great record, man. That was such a great record, man. I loved all the influences, man. I loved all the influx, all the artists that was on there, man. I loved it. But then another guy meets Quincy Jones and tell Quincy Jones, man, I've been following you since you did that Fat Albert thing, man. Who do you think Quincy gonna have the respect for? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, it's a way to know this stuff. It ain't like the stuff ain't out there to know. Just know the stuff. So when they come at you sideways, say, man, who do you think you talking to right now? I know I'm a young dude and a young artist, but man, you really think I'm a stupido or something? I know contracts ain't put together like that. And you start telling them about point structures and stuff, they're going to do the same thing they did to me when I went to see you. How you know that? Because I read it, nigga. So stop trying to mess with me, man. You know, the only reason these young people falling into any stupidness after everybody that came back said they broke, got jerked, ain't no reason for none of them to fall into none of this stupidness no more, man. They fall into it because they get duped up by the lights and the cameras.
And you know what that kind of segues into? That's why a lot of our people get caught up in the church because they don't.
Oh yeah.
Read it.
Of course. They
don't
know nothing. They don't know nothing they talking about.
Yeah. And
but yo, you don't want to see my sermon. I'm gonna send you my sermon. You don't want to see my sermon. I get in trouble all the time. I get in trouble all the time.
Man, the next time you need a background singer, you need to holler at the kid, man.
Okay.
I know T told you about me.
Yeah, but I'm saying you don't understand. You can't say that to me. I make records every day. Like I'll be sending you a million things. No, you don't understand. No, you don't. I'm retarded right now. I'm just telling you right now. I'm on some real. No, I believe it. I'm just telling you. Like I got stuff. I got a ton of stuff that I just wrote a hit, but I can't sing. But I just. Oh my God! I just wrote this record called "It's True." It's so.
Man, we gonna talk, man. We gonna talk because I need to drop this album 5840 at 2:00 in the morning. The year 40.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
The mixtape that's coming out in the morning play.
Yeah.
You know,
you stupid.
It gets serious in here, man. You know, we had this one dude one day, and we was talking, and it was myself, Lyric, Anthony, and there was about 6 people up here talking. And this dude kept on talking about. He kept on talking. Like, he's introduced Big Ants in the building, and he was talking about suicide. He's like, yeah, what does God think about that? And we were talking for about 3 hours, Daddy, about 3 hours. He cammed up, just like you are. He cammed up, and you saw a revolver. So now at this point, cats don't know what to do. He pulled out, he had a revolver. He said, yo, Bolo, every night I put this in my mouth and I pull a trigger.
Wow.
I'm going to empty it out. I ain't doing it no more. This is why we do this. This is why we come here. We come here broken. We ain't coming up here, trying to get fly. We come up here broken. This is why we do what we do.
Right.
So let me introduce you, Big Ant. This is my brother, Daddy O. Daddy O, this is my brother, Big Ant.
Hey, how's it going?
Peace.
You got a question, Big Ant?
No, I just came up to make a statement.
to let him know I'm still in that. Because I read that, Ninja. I'm taking it. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna give you credit for it.
Good.
But I'm gonna put it in the tagline.
I love it. I love it.
Just letting you know. But big fan. But you know, you give people props for what they say and what they do. So I'm just letting you know. I am gonna take it, sir. And
good.
If I need to send any copyright,
you're welcome to it, sir. You're welcome to it.
But yo, listen, man. Lyric, are you with us? You with us? Oh, you're with us in space.
Something's going on with her phone, I guess, or whatever she's on.
That's, you know, listen, if you ain't got nothing to ask, man, we took up so much of your time. You gave us 2 hours, man.
Yeah, man, it's you. It's you. I don't give nobody 2 hours. I gave it to you. Shit. I ain't giving that to you know how I get you know how I get down. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, because you know, sometimes I think you gotta release, you know, some of the stuff that's on your mind. Sometimes you have to say things. Sometimes you have to do that. And I think a lot of my peers, I think they have some great ideas. I think they do, but they don't say anything.
Well, you know,
so we don't know what they're thinking.
You know how it is, right? When the people when they don't want to be the catalyst, but when it takes off, they all want to get down. But let me ask you a question. When did you make mental illness and PTSD? When did you do that? How long ago?
2019.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we didn't have the channel at 2019. I think the channel just came in, but we've been talking.
2019. I did it right before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
It was right before the pandemic hit, because the way I wanted to do it, I've been wanting to release this record every time I release a record.
Right.
I've been wanting to release this record, but it's just like, I'm not ready yet. And then I'll release another one, and I was like, it's not time.
You just got to put it out.
No. Once I made this It's Over Now video, now it's giving me, you know what I'm saying? Because I need that. It's just, so it's a couple of things with this album. One is, this album gave me, give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds. All right. This album, I had a philosophy, and I still do. It hasn't happened yet, but I have a philosophy. You know, I started thinking. I started thinking about rap and money, and how a rapper is going to make money moving forward. Because I was way early. I did a blog on will digital cause record stores to pack years ago, way before record stores was packing. So I'm like, always fast forward, always moving forward, always saying, okay, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What is going to go down? And when I thought about it, I said, if we did records for causes, we could at least make money doing lectures. So if we did songs that had something to do with something, we could at least get in that thing and do it. Even if a guy made records about shoes, he could probably tour with Timberland. Like, that was my thinking. And so I said, you know, I don't want this record to be a regular record. I need to get with psychiatrists. I need to get with, if it calls for the, you know, mental health association, I need to get with people and let this record, and let this record soundtrack what's going on.
Be a voice.
Because they don't have no music. Yeah, they don't have no music for that. There's no music for that. You know, maybe a song here or there. You know what I'm saying? But not really. So
this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? We have the therapist. This is what we do. So your album will be the mantra for the village.
Yeah, it's something, you get with people that can help you get closer to doing the real work. I tell people all the time, I only know 3 people that do the real work. 3. 2 people is my wife's cousin and her husband. They sold everything they had to open up a school in Haiti for kids, a Christian school in Haiti, and that's where they live. They left everything, had a nice house, everything. I actually got a couple of dope Bibles when they left because he's a preacher and he couldn't take all his books, so I got some good stuff. And then my friend who lives here in San Francisco, his name is Harry. They call him Hip Hop Rev, and he's on the street with these people every day. But I say I do work. I can't call it the real work because I enjoy nice cigars and gators. Like, what the hell is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not me giving up everything to do this work.
Right.
Like,
Right.
the real work to me is somebody giving up everything to do this work. And then the rest of us should be points to find where to put the money.
But
That's my whole thing.
But here's the thing. You don't have to give up everything to do the work.
Well, no, to do the work, you don't. To do the work, you don't. To do the real work, you do. Because the real work actually involves a sacrifice of pleasures.
Let me show you this. Let me show you this, Daddy-O. You doing the work now.
I believe that. It's just not the work that they do. I'm not full time.
But listen, everybody has their own vocation. That's the
but they don't have them. These people I'm talking about don't have them. Like, yo, you gotta see them. You gotta see. This is something to see. Like, it's like, really? Like, I couldn't do that. Me, no. You calling me from Haiti? Like, yo, we don't have electricity for 9 days. I'm like, okay, that's nice. God bless you.
But see, that's why the Lord didn't give you that job, because he knew. But that's what I'm saying. He knew what Daddy-O was capable of doing. I need someone to be in music to push this through. That's what I need him to do. I
accept it. I accept it. I'm just saying that I know that I'm not. But I do realize, like, for instance, when I'm doing this, I'm working on this part 2 of self-destruction, but we're calling it's a movement. So we're calling it Stop Self-Destruction. It's pretty dope. And I've always told the people that I'm working with that once we kind of get this thing to the degree that we, the same way we did the first self-destruction and we gave the money to the Urban League, right? I said, this time around, I'm not finding one organization. I need to find out real places to put money. Like, there may be a homeless shelter that just needs their lights on. Or there may be somebody that just needs a bus. Like, all they need is a bus, or that bus repaired. Like, I need to find out those people that are in the... Yeah.
We gonna talk, man. I'm gonna talk.
Yeah, because there's these people out here. My thing is, look, man, here's the deal, bro. As far as this is concerned, as far as helping people are concerned, either shit or get off the pot. I don't want to hear people, I look at people all the time and say, man, if you're concerned, you'll find something to do. You'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I say even rich people got them friggin' what they got them things the rich ladies do. Them them charities. Yeah. Even they got charities.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Like,
I got you.
Do something. My whole thing is just do something, because I hate to hear, and that's my point with these people and these young people. Like, everything is nah, pointing the finger at the young person. Y'all wrong. Like, what are y'all doing though?
Right. Well, listen, like
you know what I'm saying?
For the village, we were looking to branch out into, philanthropy work.
Oh, okay.
To take it there. So, I'm gonna holler at you behind the scenes.
Okay. Yeah. We'll definitely do that.
So listen, man, I know you gotta go. I know you told someone you got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We end this, man. We gonna say a prayer, but I'm gonna let you. Your name is on the prayer list. That's what we do. Everyone that comes
Okay.
add to the prayer list. Is about 200 people's name on the prayer list, so it's not gonna be
beautiful.
So I don't know if you're gonna stay. We could do the prayer before we do the record, but it's up to you. But the prayer list is about 200 names, brother. And I know you told someone you had to go.
Yeah, well, I do have to get on the phone because they're waiting for me.
Do your thing, baby. Just know.
All right.
I'm going to holler at you. I'm going to call you. We're going to talk.
Okay, cool. That's good.
Thank you so much for being here, man. Thank
you.
No
doubt.
brother. Daddy-o, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Daddy-o, everybody.
Peace, peace, peace.
Thank you, my brother. I'm a holler. That was Daddy-o, guys. That was Daddy-o. So since he left, we going to play the song, and then we going to do the prayer. So I'm sorry if you guys, but we going to play my song, the one that I like. This is what we going to play. And I'm going to rap with it. And I'm going to rap with it. Yeah.
Brace yourself for the awesome and rare. The real, the right, and dynamite is in the atmosphere. As there's a time and place for everything that's under the sun. This is the time and the place that we have some fun. Now take a sec to check the pedigree of the band that's spelled as T-E-T. The rhymer, delight, the R-O-D. And on the keys, my brother, DBC. Rock through Quan and my DJ Paul. We're putting competition back up against the back of the wall. Me and the band that I just mentioned present to you our new invention.
We regulate a set of structure. So deaf, listen to the structure. Formulate your own, but please don't touch her. Good looking at me, we thank you very much. Eat this style on the court will nut ya. Right to the end, I bet we'll brush you up. And you bump into a force that creeps. Slowly but surely enough, we'll defeat you. Break.
This was Brooklyn, baby. Cats better recognize. We'll just listen to one more verse and I'll turn it on. But we gotta play this.
Straight to the letter with a hip-hop band of America, London, and even Japan. And you surely will admit by being a fan, nobody else does it like we can. To battle us is truly a gamble. Our excellence is proven by example. The ladies smile while the body's on shambles. Back off, poop, what this you can't handle. The rhythm, homeboy, is definitely ringing. The beats and rhymes are the chords that are dingling. So grab your girl, let's start the jam. For at the helm is a band called In Demand.
I don't know, Renee, but we playing it. His damn song. I'll take the monetization off so we don't get flagged for it. But it is what it is. I did lie to you.
Chant with the punch of a verbal grenade and a rhyme that's equipped as a barricade. Cool and clever, crack I never. With my crew, I will never sever. Brooklyn, New York is our hometown. That is the place we always throw down. And every night a party goes down. And when it starts, it never slows down. We boogie to the DJs nonstop to the sound of the Brooklyn hip hop. And if you've ever seen Brooklyn rock, rock it non-stop break.
All right. That's the part. Go Brooklyn. Go Brooklyn. Go Brooklyn. Go Brooklyn. All right, that's it. We don't have to listen to the rest. I just need to hear that part. That's the part. By that time, we already made it to the movie theater. But, you know, we flipping out. We flipping out by that time, you know. Every time I play that song, we got to get to the movie theater, you know. And the movie theater is about 20 minutes from the house. But, you know, when you got to watch that flick and you want those middle chairs, like now, you know, back in the days, they didn't, you know, authorize seats. So now, you know, all these movie theaters now, you're buying your chair. So no one can sit in your seat without you coming there with the ticket and showing them. But when we used to get there, I used to like to sit, you know, 3 rows back in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So let's go into this prayer. Let's go into this prayer and read these names, man. Father God, thank you. Thank you for this night. We thank you for all that you've done. We thank you for all that you are doing. We thank you for everything. For we are nothing without you. We thank you for this interview. We thank you for allowing your servant to use his talent, music, to push your glory and to push mental illness and therapy. Thank you, Lord, for allowing this brother not to be ashamed, but to stand strong. Thank you, Father. You are all. You are in all. You are absolutely awesome, magnificent, worthy to be praised. Thank you for what you do, for we are nothing without you. We love you. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you. Lord God, we are going to read some names. We ask that you please protect their families. We ask that you encamp your angels around them. If they are in transit, please give them travel mercy. If they are sick, please give them the strength to persevere. If they are down, please let them know that wherever they are, you are there with them. They are not alone. Please help them to see. We ask you, Lord God, to please protect Mika, Be Easy, Miss Carrington, Tazapoth, Playful and Derek, Little Rock, Coach, Anthony and Steve, Lyric, Nova, Novea, B, Smiles, Lexi, Fallon, Chris, AGAG, Alex, Lincoln, CJ, LA Floyd, Introverted, K Cooper, Montrell, Bumble D, Just Jab, Heather, Phoenix Lit, Drizzle, Juju, Brian Redmond, LA Harlem, Mike Rivera, Tommy Sotomayor, and Alex, Just Jay, Yeshaya, Nadia, Aura, Yediah Shah, Imani, Fleetwood, Dog, K, Peach Cobbler, Byron, Aaron, M, Aaron and Mom, Butterfly, Joseph, Shakina, Glory, Miss Lady, Matthew, George, Chat with Divine, Mason, Yoshi, 10 past 11, Norman, BCDC 123, James Corbett, Lawrence Teak, Latanya D. Sledge, Tremaine and Son, J.A. Dudley, Only Time, Mama B, Dorothy, Dante, Miss Taylor, Lapeef and the whole panel, Hyrisk 1, Daryl, Nicole Watson, Jedi, Master Wu, Lancelot, Miss M, Rochelle Halliburton, Definite G, Slim, 611, Mr. O, Black Genesis, B, Smiles, Lexi Fallon, Chris, Maggie, the substitute teacher, I'm an Israelite Queen, Andre Terry, Lawrence Rattano, Miss M, Miss B Finesse, Time Traveler, It Is What It Is, Jacob Lewis, Night Train 2804, Darken Lewis, Gordon, Ronald, Tony, Jay Chasm, Snuggles, Enya, Pasha Blaine, Shake Rack King, Jane, Jean, Celestial, Veggie Jest, Intellectual Soapbox, Wave Face, Aaron Miller, Samuel Aquady, Sparkles, LaShawn Antonio, Alan R., Sweatbread, Trash Can Waves, The Lead Attorney, Lucky, Randy Easter, Peach Cobbler, Jay Mills, I.A. Lewis, Kingdom Minded, Black Dust, Roy Rodriguez, I Can Cook, Ken Sean Holistic, Jay Takashi, AMF, Marcus, Over the Top, Snuggle, 668, You're Pushing 40, Random Stuff, Amy Lewis, Jay, CMC Productions, Motor Love, 1968, Ramses, Red Lipsticks and Son Caleb, Crystal Woodside, Jeanette Knight, Dale Jackson, Brula Blades, Nikki, Turtle House, Erica Murray, Hardway, Sipoku, Jedi Mike, Just DeWitt, Selena, Black Dazzle, Tay Tay, Sexy Slim TV, Pierre Ledur, Jamal Woodward, Provoking Thoughts, Mosaic, TJ Randolph, Ibra, The Last Saint, Bill With Me, Pillow Talk, Billionaire Mentors Podcast, Chaotic Truth, 84 Clean Cut, Princess C, Alan G, Princess A, Princessa, Alan R, Balling's My Hobby, Sir Hale Speaks, The Truth Is Never Favored, Security Boss Unsolicited, Black Men Unfiltered, The Sheila Ingram Show, Icy Lemon, and Nay, The BRE, I.A. Lewis, Let's Play, Taylor Made, E. Black, George Lewis, Zach Stewart, Richard Gordon as Brolic St. Sean, O'Shea Lennox, The Clue Channel, Big Wolf, E. Daughter, Information Man Show, Shanita Richardson, Byron Podcast, King Rich, The Windy City, Damage, Robert, CJ, Mr. Darks, Alan David, Miss Lolita Gore, Chris G, Travis Savage, Kim, Ebony, Riley McCann, Mona D, Alexis, W911 Detroit, Karma, Zoe, The Real Erica, Black Genesis, Armand D09, Chalk K, Melanie, Queen Forever 2K, Just a Splash, L. Nixon, Prince of Petty, Sleeping Beauty, Stone the Builder, Miss Storm, Farley, Nikki, Datman, Brian, Jehovah, Ricky Williams, Agent Black, Common Sense, Jernois Merced, Chris G, Derek Watson Jr., Sarah J, Raw B, Miss He Said, Lady Novella, Lynn Love, Sandy 101, Motivation from Minds, Paulo Lennon, Vaughn Bryant, Masterpiece, Gary S., The Book of Genesis, Miss Lady Sunday, Alan R., FFS, Ronald K., Randy K., Ronald Hot Boy, Jill, Chocolate Boutique, Sunflower, The Q Spot, Uncle Stu, Shelly Fowler, Nasira, Wells the Barber, C. Darius, Taylor Made, Black Vegeta, Emerge, Motivation, Brittany A, Brittany B. Shannon Rawls, Mr. A, Can't Do Right, for Floyd Finkler. Just a Splash, Kevin Palmer, Courtney Lucky Rilla, Anton Daniels, Juana Chica, Health and Healing, Saska, Brother Clarence, Bravo with Sheila, Daddy Yo, Gail Lockett, Donna Marie, Sammy McFadden, Sincerely Scorpio, Young Echo, C. Seeley, Jamal Morgan, What the Funk, Miss Nurse Fancy, Mellifant, Sarah J, Kadar, Jenny Monet, Emerge Daily, Talk with Troy, Build with Me, K. Nicole, Neo Moses, Just Right Music, Tarek Martin, Ayo Adi, Star Baby, Tyree Patterson, Mr. Rucker, Just Me Coconuts Community Solutions, Raymond Gonzalez, Black Man Travels, T Blaze, Daryl Long, Sheed We Hear, Bovine Breed, Spiritual Logic, The Learning Curve, Mr. Best in the World, Mr. Black 331, Shiva Pisces, Houston, Moments with Nikki Red, Rulia, B9, M Mills, Big Bad Bull, Randy, Doris Myers, Ma'at Speaks, and Edens. We thank you, Lord God. We ask that you please protect all those that serve you in truth and in the spirit of love. Thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for all that you do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Big Ant, any last words?
Great show, man. Really great show. That was very nicely done. So we got a treat tonight, guys.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you. You know, it wasn't, you know, it was definitely a group act. Thank you to the village. Thank you to you. Thank you. Lots of thanks to Lyric. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and thank you to Daddy O, man. Thank you. You know, you're in the middle of a project. Thank you for giving us 2 hours. You know, I never want to use our friendship. You know what I'm saying? I never want to use my friendship for the people that I know. You know, in the industry or, you know, in the street or whatever it might be. You know, so I thought that it was a marvelous coming together with his music that he's putting out, mental illness, mental health, and PTSD, and the whole album that, you know, we will debut here. I just thought that, you know, it was just a beautiful thing. You know, so, you know, it's not about name dropping or, you know, it's not about that. It's never been about that. You know, it's never been about that. Even he himself being in the industry so long, he really didn't name drop. I was asking him all these different things with all the names and everything. And, you know, it's a beautiful thing, man. You know, that he gives back and he's still doing it. 61, still doing it. So again, you know, we're going to try and get you more treats. And again, like I said, you know, it's, I don't want to use my friendship with anybody, whoever it might be, for gain if it's not something that's going to be sincere. If it's not going to be something.
It didn't come off like that. It came off as good quality interview. And the way, you know, things you guys were discussing, you know, the stuff that a lot of people, you know, haven't heard before. It does give a window into the go behind the scenes type of thing. But it also talks about the important things. Right. And so when, you know, for him to be, you know, having this album getting ready to come out, and, you know, I was going to ask him myself personally, seeing how this plays out, that album drops right before the whole thing that went down, when there were a lot of people that did lose their lives during, you know, jab time,
right,
or prior to, right, because they did not have and could not cope with being by themselves. And so the amount of people who suffered from, you know, relatives and children and not being able to see them when they pass and all of these other things because they were kept away from things that, come to find out, was a lie. I mean, that hurt people a lot to see parents and, you know, grandparents pass away and not be able to be there during their final times. And so a lot of people suffered during that time with, mental health and even, things in regards to PTSD, even through that portion. And that's not even to say, military and police forces and, firemen and everyone else who have to go and do these jobs that, you might not come home that day, right? You might not come home and you leave, families behind as this happens. So the stuff that he's doing, I mean, is to be applauded, and it's a light that needs to be shed in all four corners, right? So, I mean, great job, dude. Again, real great job. Enjoyed it. It was great. It was fun. And so, glad you were able to do it. Glad he was willing to do it. And, you had a great thing tonight. Great thing.
Well, thank you to everybody that was here. Village, Big Ant, mad shout outs to Lyric. Thank you so much for coming up. I guess something was wrong with your mic. She had a whole lot of questions and they were good ones. So thank you guys for being here.
I don't think he had enough time for all those scrolls though, bro.
Daddy-O, thank you, brother, for coming up. Thank you for the accomplishments and the music that you've given us that we've loved throughout the years, even in the people. And there's so many other people that I was going to name, but, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, damn, we're pressed for time. And we were only going to do about an hour 15, but he gave us 2, and again, like I said,
Man, shout out to him for that.
Yeah. I never want to use any friendship or anything that I have to, and this is talking towards more of the people that, I call friend or family. If it's something that we're doing that has nothing to do with the alignment in which you are in, I'm not going to try and just grab you or try to use what we've built for gain if it's not something organic and beautiful. And again, like I said, when I asked him when he did the music, it was like 2019. We were popping before then. My mind, sometimes I'll be forgetting when I'm on pressure. But we were up, but we didn't talk about none of that stuff. I didn't know that he was going. I guess he had to go through it. But we were having a conversation last week. And I was, the Lord blessed me to be privy to call into the conversation. And, he was having a conversation with my brother. And, when I got put into the 3-way and I'm kicking it and I'm hearing him, I'm like, yo, so what? So I was like, yo, let me ask you a question, man. This is what we do. This is what it is. And you got this mental illness thing. Let's make it happen. He was like, yo, Bolo, let me know when. And I'm there. That's it. Nothing else was said. Let me know when, and I'm there. Not a second thought. ALR said, how long have I known him? Damn, it's gotta be, I want to say about 9-10 joints. About 9-10, no, it's gotta be longer than that. It's gotta be probably around 12 years, maybe 10 years. Around there, someplace. Around there. So, again, I told you I'd be in these streets, man. I told you my lyrics is hot like fire, son. I'll give you only 2 bars, though, but it's hot 2 bars. 2 bars ain't soft. Don't be trying to sleep on my pedigree, y'all. Y'all be trying to sleep on me, man. Yeah. So now we have some respect on my name when you hear me drop them lyrics. You heard him tell you I got lyrics, right? Y'all heard him say it. I got lyrics, kid. I'm only joking.
I don't think I was online when that one came down.
That's no lyric would have probably said he was sleepy or hungry. Because She would have said he was sleepy or hungry. You know what I'm saying? That's what she would have said. Nah, he's sleepy. You sleepy, Daddy. It's time for you to go to sleep. It's 12 o'clock. And I think he's on the East Coast.
You suffer from jet lag, so you're away on the West Coast.
Yeah, and it's an awesome thing. You know what I'm saying? And the difference, and I wanted to highlight, because the conversation that we was having, that's why I said what I said to him. Because he was like, yo, he said to my brother, he was like, yo, T, you got to understand, this is what I love doing. He's like, this is what I love doing. And then he mentioned some rappers that they are going to remain nameless. It was like, yo, B, when I kick it to them, I get pissed off and angry with them because they had so much to offer the world. They had so much to offer the world, but it wasn't their love. They were just, talented. I knew there was these two guys. If we look at the Michael Jackson, the Remember the Time. Do you remember the time? If you look at the video, there's two guys in the front. Two black guys. One real tall, lanky one, and one short that's really thick. One is named Stretch, the other one is named Jamal. Grew up with them both. And Stretch was nice. He started off, back in the days in Brooklyn, with my brothers, and they were dancing and all that stuff, and Stretch was just naturally gifted. He's just a naturally gifted dude. He was nice. Arguably the best in New York City when it came to pop locking. Jamal was younger than Stretch, but he had to put in work. So with Stretch, from my perspective of it, right? From my perspective of it, I'm not going to say that he didn't relish it or he didn't, find it to be important. It was a God-given gift to him. This dude here had to learn it. So it's a different perspective that this dude had to claw and fight for it, opposed to a dude that was just born with it. So when it came to the choreography and Remember the Time, it was them two that were up against each other. And you know who got it? Jamal. But because of the relationship Jamal had with Stretch, he put him in the front. You know what I'm saying? So it's just some of these cats just naturally have it, but they don't have a love for it. They just happen to find themselves in the right place at the right time. They spit some hot fire and they got a contract. But once, that tenure is done, it's done. But then you have those that go into the artistry of it, that they sit down and they want to break this thing down to its lowest compound because this is what they love to do. This is who they are. He's one of them. And that's why I said to him, I said, it was just talent for them. It was just talent. And he ended the conversation right there. He was like, yo, Bolo, that's what it is. It was love for you. It was talent for them. And you can take that and put it into what we talk about every day. When you just go into a relationship with just sex, just the feeling of it, because you do that good, it doesn't last. You may get a year or two out of it, but it's not going to last. It's going to fall apart. But when you're in love, you go into the nuances and the breakdowns. You want to know what makes your spouse happy. You want to know what makes them tick so that you don't tick them off. You want to know the small things that will prepare you for the big things, because the small things is where you're getting the trust in each other, is where the faith is growing in each other, and where you guys are learning to fight with each other. So when that hard time comes, there is no question in trust. There is no question in what position everybody needs to play. They snap to it. That's real-time warfare. This is why when you go to the military, they try to simulate as much as they can, real war, because they want you to understand this is what it's going to be like. This is a simulation, but this is what it's like. Like I use that example, like Big Rick just said, I give you that example. Jordan, you never see Jordan sweat when it's that last buzzer beater. Never sweats. Never. Why? Because that's how I practice. I practice for that. No one feels pressure when there's 10 minutes left in the game. No one feels pressure when there's 5 minutes left in the game. Pressure comes when there's 2 minutes, minute and a half, 30 seconds. That's what I practice. This is what we're fighting for. And then it shows. 61 years old, still going strong, on the road right now, in the middle of a project to stop to talk to us. It's God, man. And we're talking about what we talk about, mental illness. Not talking about the hottest records or whatever. Yeah, we talk about his history. So, you know, like he said, these young cats got to understand that you ain't far from me, baby. That's why I tell them, Duke, I wear the same sneakers you wear, same shoes you wear, same clothes you wear, same jewelry you wear, I wear. We ain't that far from each other. So what you spitting at me is not far-fetched from what I'm spitting at you. But the difference is your joint is still theoretical. Your joint is still in the laboratory. I'm telling you that I done took this out. I done flew it in the damn bush. It's done crashed. I went back to the laboratory, made some adjustments, took it back out and flew, and it flies. I don't glide, G. I don't believe in gliding. I don't believe in that. Because when you glide, you land where you land. When you fly, you pick where you land. And that's the difference. So when these cats are talking the way they talking, you don't know. You do not know who's on the other end of that mic and know what that man or woman has gone through or is going through when they speak. You got to understand, man, this is what it is. So I'm going to try and definitely work something with him because he's looking. That's the Spirit of the Lord right there. Yo, I'm looking to give to people. I'm looking to give. I'm not looking to take. Come on, man. If that ain't love, if that ain't Jesus, I don't know what is. And I know I held you guys for 3 hours or 2 hours and 38 minutes. And I apologize for that. But thank you guys for being here, man. Thank you guys for being here. Y'all made it a beautiful night. I hope, that you enjoyed yourselves. I definitely did. It was like I was talking to my brother when we were on the phone, but just with a bunch of people in the room. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Big Ant, for coming. You said you're going to be here and you were here. That's why we love you. Lyric was here. Thank you guys for being here. All of you. Thank you for showing up and showing out. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for being an audience and hearing us speak. And like, share, comment. Thank you so much, man. I love you all for that. Big Ant, I love you. Village, I love you. Lyric, I love you. Guys, thank you. You got anything for us, Big Ant?
No, man, I'm good. You guys have a great night.
Have a great night, guys. Lord willing, we'll see you in the morning in the a.m. And I will continue playing this on the way out. Good night, everybody. We're going to play this on the way out. Brooklyn, son. Brooklyn, son. If you don't recognize who I be, recognize it's me. I be the guy that people want to know why I don't understand who I fly, because you got to understand.
Point blank, our deliverance is me but smooth. Stands out like a winner at your favorite tune. All attention is released upon the call of the beat as you rock along to a funky beat. Like a torch, we're keeping you active. Our rhythm will hold you captive. We're perfecters of the poem we sing. Marketing to the top with the style that's addicting. No doubt about what we capture. Another classical treasure. So productive and effective. Chalk it up as a jam that's splendid.
It ain't nothing like
like hip-hop music. You like it cause you choose it. Most DJs won't refuse it. A lot of sucker MCs misuse it. Don't think that can lose it. Too much to gain to abuse it. The name of the game is Rapture. This song is complete and captured. Great.
So we talking about live band, live drums. Go Stetson. Live band. This is when Brooklyn was at its height, baby. It ain't finished. We got about a minute left. Yeah. What y'all know? My man, Brother Clarence said, what did he want to hear? I think he said he wanted to hear. What? I think he said he wanted to hear talking all that jazz. I think we could do that. I think we could do that. Call it a night. Call it a night. We're going to hear talking all that jazz. Then we're going to call it a night, guys. We're going to hear talking all that jazz. We're going to call it a night. Rock out with me. There's 15 of y'all. Y'all can rock out with me for just one more minute. Well, nah, about 5 more minutes. Because, you know, back then these songs were long. So rock out with me for 5 more minutes. Then we'll call it a night. And then, you know, Lord willing, we'll come back in the morning and do what we do. Because that's what we do. But rock out with me. Y'all can give me 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. Y'all can give me 4 more minutes. Come on now. This one right here is for Brother Clarence. This is what you needed. This is what you wanted. So this is for you, brother. I love this record too. But that other one just gets you amped. You got to get to where you're going real fast. You just got to get there.
Of course we expect to win. Any self-respecting and the rest of this hip-hop music is just a passing fad.
I don't know.
One is not creative, 2 inspires
I
violence,
took down the monetization, so I don't think they should have an issue with us. You know what I'm saying? It's not monetized. Usually they have an issue, but it's his record.
No further questions, please.
So we'll just hear first 2 minutes of this record.
Well, here's how it started. Heard you on the radio, talking about rap, saying all that.
And that's him rapping right now.
Give an example. Think we'll let you get away with that? You criticize our method of how we make records. You said it wasn't art, so now we're gonna rip you apart.
Stop. Check it out, my man. This is the music of a hip-hop band. Jazz, well, you can call it that.
But this jazz retains a new format.
Point. When you misjudged us, speculated, created a fuss.
You've made the same mistake politicians have.
Talking all that jazz. You guys thought it was Diggable Planets that brought jazz to hip-hop? Nah, G. Hip-hop's first hip-hop band. They wasn't a group. Check it out.
Talk. Well, I heard talk is cheap. But like beauty, talk is just skin deep. And when you lie and you talk a lot, people tell you to step off a lot. You see, you misunderstood. A sample just a tactic, a portion of my method, a tool. In fact, it's only of importance when I make it a priority. And what we samples of are the majority.
But you a minority in terms of thought.
Narrow-minded
and poorly taught about hip-hop's name or the silly game to erase my music so no one can use it.
You step on us and we'll step on you. Can't have your cake and eat it too.
Talking all that jazz.
Talking all that jazz.
Lies. That's when you hide the truth. It's when you talk more jazz than proof, and when you lie and address something you don't know.
It's so whack that it's bound to show. When you lie about me or the band, we get angry. Whip out our pen, start writing again. And the things we write are always true, sucker. Get a grip, now we talking about you. Seems to me that you have a problem, so we can see what we can do to solve that.
Fake rap's a fad, you must be mad. Cause we're so bad, we get respect you never had.
Tell the truth, James Brown was old. Tell Eric and Rock came out with I Got Soul. Rap brings back old R&B, and if we would not, people could have forgot.
Word. We want to make this perfectly clear. We're talented and strong and have no fear
of those who choose to judge but lack pizzazz.
Talking all that jazz. What? Come on, son. Come on, man. We had a pioneer in here today, man. I don't think you guys understood what happened. I don't think you understood what happened. We had a pioneer in here today. Shout out to my brother, Daddy O, Stetsasonic. Shout out. Let's give him one more round of applause. Thank you for being here. Thank all you guys for being here because we couldn't do this without you. So give you guys a round of applause. Yeah, Big Rick said New York, the epicenter. What? Kango, Cazelles, ski goggles, 8-ball jackets, British Knights, British Walkers, Lotto sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Cats was wearing what? Do-rags, playing Skelly. Come on, man. That was classic, man. Classic. So with that, man, thank you guys for being here. I love you all. Thank you. Lord willing, we see you in the morning. So have a blessed night. Be safe. And remember, man, spend 10 to 15 minutes with the Father. He's here. Never left. Love you all. Good night.